All right, everybody. Welcome.
Always be
Always
recording.
record. Always record.
Good morning, comic
Good
fans.
morning, All-Star Comics podcast. It's a funny one, funny morning. I put up this is a Steranko collage he did for Steranko History of Comics, I think Volume 1. And Rob's like, I love the way there's two Nick Furies on it. And I'm literally like, he's like, where? He's like,
Like
right behind you. And I'm like doing
you
this
you
and
can't
this.
see
And
it.
I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I can't even do it right now.
It,
I'm trying to do it right now. I can't even do it. There we go.
there, yeah, see, there he is. There's Agent of Shield Nick Fury and Howling Commandos Nick Fury.
Steranko, that's the same guy.
We
Or
love we
is
love
it?
Steranko. Um, I know it's a good haircut, Mark. You got a new haircut, looking
Oh, yeah.
sharp. You got
Got
the
the
fade
fade.
going. I It's the
Yep.
Superboy 90s fade. I had that for like 20, 30 years
Yeah.
until eventually my whole head's just a fade now.
Just
I'll
one
still do
fade.
the fade
Fade up to
up into
nothing.
nothing. That
Hey,
sounds like a
man.
Metallica song. Is that a Metallica song? Fade up into
Probably.
nothing.
Probably with the Black Album, that shit album. Screw you.
Shit album. You mean the best-selling one?
The best selling shit album. Yes.
That's
I didn't like it. Do you remember? I don't know. I don't know if we knew each other, but what was
no.
the store
We were
downstairs? Uh, I
at the mall.
guess. Yeah. Before J.C. Penney was at its Deptford Mall. It was like, it was like a Just Music. It was a different music store. It wasn't Sam Goody. There was another store that was downstairs that opened for a little while. I don't remember what it was called, but I remember
We
them having huge posters
oh,
of the of the Black Album, and I was mad, even though I shouldn't be mad because Prince put out a Black Album, but then he
right.
pulled it for religious reasons at the very end, and then there was only so many copies that came out. But I'm like, you can't call it the Black Album. That's Prince's Black Album, even though at that time it was still an unreleased album. They took pieces of that album and then put that on Crystal Ball and Sign of the Times. Then Crystal Ball didn't come out. So yeah, it was a nightmare. Anyway, so I was mad at Metallica for
It's
doing
a
that.
how dare they? Good
How
day,
dare
sir.
they? Or was it Load? No, it might have been. It might have. What did they have? The Black Album, then they had Load, and then the Reload. I don't
No,
know.
they had stuff in between that, right?
I don't
Because
know.
Load is the Metallica with your current haircut. They went from Tim
Yeah.
DiBartolo haircut to
Right.
short hair.
And now, fucking James Hetfield. Every clip I see, he's crying on Howard Stern. He's fucking crying. Fucking.
Why?
I don't know. Feelings. Listen, I'm all advocating male crying, but not James Hetfield. No, thank you. That's the most hardcore dude ever, or was.
Listen, my daughter got so into Metallica for like 2 years. She got all their vinyl.
Mm.
She was just like a 13, 14-year-old girl. And she's like, oh, I like Metallica. And then she really likes Metallica. And then she's like, here's the B-sides. And then I went when they put out their last album last year, like the 72 Seasons, I think it's called. I went and took her to the movies so I could watch like the premiere of the album where
Oh,
they
I
just
see.
do a couple
Oh, cool.
videos or it was actually kind of fun. Like she loved it. That's all that mattered. And it was cheaper than taking to New York for a concert.
Yeah, I think it was last night they did the this is I guess simulcast related, not Metallica related.
Right.
But Zach Braff did a fundraiser and got everyone who did the Garden State. Is it 20 years, 25 years, 30 years? He did a concert in Los Angeles and the Hollywood
Oh yeah.
Bowl, I believe, and then they just had every artist from the album there. And but they simulcasted. It sold out, and then they
Right.
decided that to keep fundraising, they put it on Veeps, I want to say, which I watched one concert during the pandemic through that. It's like an app where you can watch like concerts that are archived.
You ever
Kind
go
of
to
neat.
California?
Yeah, a long time ago. Not.
Millie and I went for a Transformer convention and we went on this bus tour around the area and we went to Hollywood Bowl. And like nobody was there. We didn't see like a concert, but we're just running up and down the seats and jumping and we get on
That's
stage.
funny.
I'm like, I'm thinking now, I'm like, I can't believe we were allowed to do that.
Right. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, that's funny. Um, but let's get in. Let's jump into the news. Oh, quick plugs. All right,
Oh yeah.
idiosyncratic Paul. I'm thinking about. I have to start posting regularly. I'm jealous of you posting all the time on X. Like you have that discipline. I used to have that discipline, and it's funny you said that you were inspired by my discipline when I was doing something really regularly, and then
Yeah.
I stopped doing it, and then I'm like so cold turkey right now, unfortunately. So I need to get. But with me, with my dumb brain, with my ADHD brain, it's like, well, I'll start six new projects. Like I know I'm on like I think I'm on C for like the Marvel A to Z
Right.
Marvel Universe. And I'm like, maybe I'll start an Image one. And I'm
You know what
like,
you got to do
I need to complete the that
when
because I'm just
you
curious how many days that's going to be.
when your weekend hits. put a little time aside to chill and just kind of set it up for the a week or two.
I think
This way,
that's right.
When Monday hits, like I do it before I go to work. Like I have
Mhm.
like 5, 10 minutes before I go to work. I just sit down at my computer, drink a little coffee, like post it, post it, post it.
Right, right, right.
So
Yeah, I
you're
should
still
take
doing,
pictures all on like Sunday. Sunday's a pretty good day or Sunday night, and then pull a bunch of books and because I got books yesterday and I'm looking, I'm like, man, how am I gonna rotate this in? I have this other thing. I should just put out what I get. You know what I mean? Like I should just like, okay,
yeah.
this is inspiring me. Let me do this. And
You should have a daily haul on like your because there's no you have themes,
mhm.
but you don't have to have like the same theme every day. Like I kind of wish I would have put my Maximum Supreme mixed in with my Rob Messick. I'm like, it'd be nice to just have one place to go to.
Mhm. Right, right, right. Yeah,
Like you put all your stuff on Truth Social, and I think that's cool. Very brave of you.
I don't have True Social.
No, no, I
So,
know.
but thank you. Try to gotcha me. Don't
You put
gotcha
all,
me.
don't gotcha me. You put it
Don't
on.
gotcha me.
But so what are you putting up on? Have you been putting anything on
No,
Idiosyncratic Pulp?
I got a bunch of stuff pulled. Yeah, I mean, I want to put these up because I got these like 2 weeks ago, but I got the Henry and Glenn for. I only got these literally for the covers, even though they had like a nice trade, and I was like looking at the trade, but the trades had black and white of these covers, and I was like, nah. So anyway, but yeah, this is just like a cool like Rob Liefeld cover, like
Yeah.
just very
Henry and
extremed
Glenn,
out,
this independent creator
and
10,
that's a
15
Chris
years
Starr.
ago, put out these little ash cans. And it's basically like this world where Glenn Danzig and Henry Rollins are a couple. And I don't think Glenn Danzig likes it. I think he's kind of not thrilled about it,
Yeah,
but I don't think he'd do its parody.
right.
Glenn
Yeah.
Danzig, who is it? Sal Abenati, is that Alex Ross's dude?
Mhm.
He went to like a Danzig party at a comic convention and he said it was like he was like I think starving, like literally hungry, and he just went to the party and just ate as much food as he could. He goes,
Oh,
"There's all
right,
this
right, right.
crazy like drugs going on here and sex orgies going on over here," and he's like, "I'm just here for the food."
Jesus Christ.
You
Uh,
ever see his art? I kind of like his art, Sal Abenati.
yeah, yeah.
I think he's
Isn't
pretty good. He's good with colors.
isn't Danzig's what the heck is that? Isn't his logo taken from something else? The skull?
Yes, it is, and I totally forget what it's taken from.
Yeah.
Ah, damn you, Mark.
Oh, let me get I gotta make my notes. I
Yeah,
gotta
it's
start
it's
making
literally
notes,
yeah.
you
Look that
know?
up. So
Uh,
we'll do my Twitter is like I said, Maximum Supreme, doing a page day of Supreme, almost done Supreme Apocalypse. That's fun. My Rob Messick, I try to do more varied things. People started reposting mine in like a negative way. Like I put up a Chap Yap cover, and one dude like reposted me, and he's like, "Ugh, everyone buy lots of copies." I'm like, "Okay, I'm just trying to
it's not what
showcase
we're
things that
doing.
I like."
Yeah,
And
that's
then
not
the
what we're
other
talking about.
guy, this other guy's like, "Oh, Chap Yap, so much better than Liefeld." It's like, what? Why would you even make that statement? Like, Liefeld hired Chap Yap.
Right, right, right.
Like,
Yeah.
like if you like Chap Yap better, that's great. But like,
Mhm.
don't say he's better. Art opinions are opinions.
Right.
You know, listen, I love Chap Yap, but I did like Ian Churchill when he came on Heroes Reborn,
Mhm.
Avengers. I'm like, oh, this is a neat, different look.
Right,
I
right, right.
wasn't like, I wasn't like, F you, Chap Yap. We got Ian Churchill. No, I'm like, this, that was just
No,
another artist.
I think War Child's great. I wish there was a really good War Child like trade or like a collection.
There, there literally is a trade of Warchild.
Oh, is there? There
Yep,
you go. Does it
and
have but
it's got a new Liefeld cover.
what does it have the stuff I want in it though? Like does
It
it
has
have like all the variants and it's not going to have the Art Adams like two
no,
page.
it doesn't have the Asylum #1 Art Adams Warchild story,
Right.
which is crazy. Rob
Yeah, right.
Liefeld got an Art Adams that was supposed to be in Warchild Zero, but Warchild Zero never happened. So he just moved that story to Asylum because everything
Mm,
Asylum, which was an anthology series, and it was both new stories and unpublished stories. Like towards the end, it's like the last issue of Kid Supreme. It's the last issue of Lady Supreme. It's
right,
a
right, right.
Murat Michaels had a Law and Order book. I think they put in there. There's a foot soldier story in
Mm,
Asylum.
right, right,
Jim
right.
Kruger's foot soldier story. And I think it's drawn by Jason Pearson. At the very least, Jason Pearson drew the cover, which is
Yeah, he did the
really
cover.
really nice looking.
I'm trying to think who and there's double tap. Is double
Double
tap
tap,
in there?
Stephen Platt's Double Tap has a poster and a two-page story, three-page story.
2 pages.
So yeah, if you go through your bins, go bin diving, pick up some asylums. They're fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
There's
you can get
that's
in.
Pop Man's and Evangeline, right? So that's like the real like hip,
That's the
skinny
real.
jeans Evangeline. That's pretty fun.
Yeah,
That's fun
it's
stuff.
fun because it's like he was obsessed with Chris Picello at that time. So he was kind of doing a Chris Picello mixed with his own. That was really good Evangeline stuff too. There's like a pseudo Michael Jackson story. Like I think she's hired. Oh no, that's Christian. There's a Christian
Christian.
story that Pop Man draws. That's really good.
That's funny. Christian
Yeah.
baby. Yeah, it's funny the way that, things kind of maneuver. Yesterday I was looking at there was an Alfredo Akala like story, and then I went on to Alter Ego had a couple pages of his interview, and then it had a picture that he drew of Roy Thomas, and it said, Alter Ego. No, I think it was a back issue with Alfredo Akala. Then it said Alter Ego 50. He drew the cover of that, or he painted a cover of Roy Thomas. And I went there, and then realizing that he said, "Oh, well, when I wasn't working anywhere, I bought the license for." Let me see if I can find it because I bought the license out of my own pocket for a Robert E. Howard story, and it was for Cormac Mac Art, and it came out in Dark Horse in 1990.
That's neat.
So I have scans of it because like I don't know how I'm going to find this, but like I have a like what is that? Like it's some type of like it's a pre-Conan archetype character that like Roy Thomas knew about. It's like a short story in whatever Weird Tales number 138. So it's like he paid the license out of his pocket, asked Dark Horse to help him publish it. E.R. Cruz drew it. So it's like this weird like being in these different rabbit holes. So like this thing, Alfredo Alcala talked about this story. I'm in that alter ego talks about this thing you put out of his pocket. I gotta find that now. So now it's on my reading pile. This is just our way our brains work and the way that like the most depressing thing you've ever said to me in my life is when you said, we're gonna die. This was like 20 years ago, I think. We're gonna
Yeah.
die, and then stories are gonna keep going. And I'm like, you
Yeah.
fucking shit. And now that I'm almost 50, I'm just like, there's so much stuff I didn't read. Like the first so many
Yes.
years of Dark Horse is kind of crazy. Like it's all over the place. Like it's like Roach Mill,
Hmm.
it's the
The
American, it's
right. It's
Trekker.
concrete. It's yeah.
That.
It
I
is.
don't know what the fuck. I've never seen that in my life. You know what I mean? Like I've never seen that. I'm trying
Nah.
to find that right now.
It was only this year when I found out Liefeld drew a Little Red Riding Hood style story where like the wolf's a werewolf for Dark Horse Presents, and then they never published it.
Yeah, where's that? Can I have that? I have the
Life,
Boris the Bear number 10, which is the
yeah,
Liefeld like just
that's a fan
pinup.
letter. That was just a fan thing. He drew on a comic
I don't think
board.
it
He was,
says his name. I don't even think it says like this is Rob Liefeld. It just says Liefeld there.
yeah, I think you're correct.
I don't think it even
Yeah,
says
it's
we
just a
only know it
signature.
because he talked about it on his podcast, and I found it like a week later. I was in like a bin. And I was like Boris the Bear, and I just always pass by. But who cares? You
Do you
know?
have the Megaton trade, collecting all Gary
No,
Carlson's
I
Megaton
should get
comics?
that.
You should get that. Um, in the back of that, he's got a couple samples. He's got a bunch of Liefeld samples from the 80s, and he's got like two pages from that Red Riding Hood story. Liefeld said he has it, so he's just gonna publish it one
Put it
day
out somewhere.
somewhere. Yeah.
You should put it out in the extreme art book that never came out. Hey,
Ah, Rob
but
Liefeld, The Art of Extreme. That's
what
right.
was
We haven't been on that lately.
who did they have
Those
to issue refunds? How did that work? Was it American Entertainment? Is that who had the ads in the back?
yes,
Is that right?
American Entertainment and then American Earth or American Enter yeah.
Do they have to issue refunds, or is people still waiting for that? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, how did that work? Did you pay them and then they? Because now it's like sometimes you pre-order something and then it charges when it ships.
Yes.
That's not the way it
That's the
works.
way
It's
yeah.
the way it works
You're
now with
right.
fulfillment, correct? But like that's the way a lot of Kickstarters work. That's the way, or the Kickstarters come out right away.
Operation Urban Storm, that was solicited, right?
That was solicited. Yep, that was in there. Yeah. Yep.
Um Also like what if things change? Like Youngblood 3 was solicited with a glow in the dark cover.
Right.
Issue 3 came out, no glow in the dark cover.
Well, I think there used to be stuff, and that's why Todd published out of order for Spawn, right? So if he,
Yeah, oh yeah.
what's that story? What exactly?
Yeah.
How does that story
It
work?
was the time frame while he was drawing Spawn Batman. and he kept soliciting issues of Spawn, and then he got behind. So issue like 19 and 20 had been so late, he went and published 21. So 21 was on time, 22 was on time, and then it somehow got around the 1 month late rule that Diamond had instituted, mostly because of Image.
Mhm.
If it's more than a
Yep.
month late, you get your money back.
It was all
And
returnable.
and then he published them, he resolicited them later. So somehow he just got around it. It was a
Yeah, but they had a fun like the Todd can't count like
Yes,
sketch.
they made fun of it. He's like up on like yeah, so 20 and 21 came out. I want to say after 25.
Who drew
I
that
think
ad?
after
It looked like J. Scott Campbell, but I don't think it was. It was
no,
the
J.
guy
Scott
who
Campbell,
drew Stupid.
Hillary Barta.
Might have been that. I'll see if I
Yeah,
can.
J.
Todd
Scott
can't
Campbell
count.
was like he could do the Angelo Torres Mad Magazine style, the
Hmm.
Mort Drucker. He was a big fan of Mort Drucker. So when Image did their Image Plus one, right, it had all the caricatures of the Image creators, and J. Scott Campbell drew them all.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
good,
yeah.
really good style.
So that's
So
how it works. This is how our brain works, guys. Sorry about that. Or you're welcome. I'm not sure. One or
this
the
is
other.
this is it's the spiral we like to call it.
We're
We
pretty
have we
happy
haven't
with
we haven't
like
referenced the spiral in a
we're
while.
getting very consistent views. Like so for the 30 people watching, hope you. I think that's how your brain works. Is what I'm going to say. So but let's jump right into some of the news. This is launching next week. Let me fix something real fast. So this is launching next week on the 8th.
The, the first one. This is a Transformers Kickstarter put out by Skybound.
Yeah. Now, the only thing that I think is let me set something up.
You and I were trying to do some math on this.
Hmm. Yeah,
How many issues did we say was in the first one?
like 50.
That's a ridiculous amount because there's only like 80 some of the actual ongoing Transformers G1
Hmm.
series.
Right.
And then there's
Um,
12 issues of Gen 2.
yep.
You got 3 issues of Transformers the movie adaptation, four or
Yep.
five Transformers Universe comics,
Four.
Transformers vs. G.I. Joe.
Four. That's four.
What, the Transformers Universe?
Yeah, that's four.
Okay.
Movies three.
I have a fake fifth one made up of all the profiles that came out in the comic afterwards
Oh, you son
because
of a bitch.
they kept doing profiles after those 4 issues.
Same thing with G.I.
So
Joe. G.I.
same
Joe
thing
did
with
that.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I have that on
Um,
some of my Instagram.
Transformers vs. G.I. Joe. Transformers that show up in G.I. Joe right before G2 launched, and Headmasters. That's a solid.
Headmasters is four. Yeah.
That's 100 issues. I'm sorry. That's like
Yeah, so
110,
that's two.
120 issues.
Well,
So
so
that's like two
so
and a
if
half.
yeah, so if volume two is 30 plus three is four, four, 30. I have math guys, everybody.
12.
They love it.
Yeah,
They
12,
love it. I'm just gonna skip it.
2.
So I would say volume two is kind of the rest. However, there was something, and this is literally from a Transformers board. I don't know where they got this picture, but they're showing four. So the only thing that what we want, is that I know that the UK stuff, they mentioned that it's going to be the most seamless uh, space where they're putting UK stuff together with G1.
Right. And
So I
G2.
like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty
UK had
cool.
original stories. They were great. That's where Simon Furman started his Transformers run.
Death's Head
Um,
showing up.
Death's Head shows up. And then you're a big fan of the Blackthorn Transformer 3D comics, right? They're pretty
No,
fantastic.
they're the worst.
They're
There's no way
garbage.
they're in here.
There's no
We need
way.
to do a show. We need to do a show of that. The
They
Blackthorn 3D books, which are just I saw Blackthorn. What did I see yesterday? They had a Blackthorn Rambo on a live stream. My buddy Joe, he runs 360 Comics. He was doing a live stream yesterday. It was $20. I was like, shit, I want that Rambo book. I know it's bad. I have the Blackstone Blackthorn.
yeah,
I have the Red Heat adaptation where they could not get the licenses, so it's just some dude. It's not
right.
Schwarzenegger. It's not Belushi. It's just like people. Like it's so bad. Red Heat.
They they did a
Oof.
3D. I think did they do a 3D Thundercats? I know they did a 3D. I just lost it. The Transformers were 3D.
Hmm. They have a G.I.
Oh,
Joe too.
they had an adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters in 3D.
Yeah,
You know,
Blackthorn was a weird company because didn't they have they would buy. So it's almost like when we talk about licenses all the time about how like Super 7 has Transformers license, but it can't transform. So like
correct.
these guys had licenses, but they would have to do like a very specific comic. So
It had to
they
be in
could
3D or
yeah, so
something.
they can get 3D rights to do a Transformers comic, but it's not G1 continuity.
Yeah.
It's not cartoon continuity. You know what I mean? It's not
No.
G1 comic continuity. So
And this
um
wasn't like Ray Zone 3D. This was like I don't know
yeah,
who they found to do it. You know,
yeah. There was one dude, it's Ray Zone. That's it.
Ray
That's the
Zone.
guy.
He would
That's
3D
the
everything.
guy. He would have the 3D because I had Batman 3D, which I need to get again. I think I sold it through or lost it or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Batman
liked
3D
it.
is kind of great.
He did a 3D crack magazine.
Ray
Just
Zone.
one random issue, crack magazine in 3D.
They did a 3D. They did two 3Ds in the 2000s and maybe 2010s and for DC where they did 3D Superman Beyond. Is that right? With Doug Mankey. And
Yes. Oh yeah.
then, which is Final Crisis Superman Beyond 1 and 2. And then the Jeff Johns Adam Kubert. But Adam Kubert, the problem with Adam Kubert is he's not an in-your-face artist. So
Right.
that his stuff was just kind of like slightly raised.
Right.
It's
Right.
like foreground slightly raised. And I'm like, why did you have why this is not necessary, but that's a
Alan
good
Moore
story.
used it pretty good in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. When one of the issues had a 3D section, it looked really cool.
Oh yeah. 3D. Why don't they do like a full hologram comic? Do a full hologram comic. So our whole thing with this is that if there's four compendium, right?
Can you imagine the strain on your eyes trying to read hologram letters? Or do you put the letters in regular word balloons, almost like stickers on top of the hologram?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a nightmare. I think even 3D sometimes is a major nightmare. So
It is a nightmare. Sometimes and I always like every time I read a couple pages, I'll take the glasses off, let my eyes readjust so I can see the 3D again. It's like when you go see
mm,
Avatar in the theater. Like it's all great and it's all encompassing, but sometimes you like take yourself out of it to put yourself back into it so you could appreciate the 3D.
yeah, I think the
Like,
first Avatar was the best use. I feel like I've never seen anything else after that that has been of okay. That's not true. I think the Doctor Strange was really fun because Doctor Strange, I remember making a noise. I remember Walt laughed at me because when he slides down, when everything and when all the buildings are going like this, and then Doctor Strange is sliding down on one of them, and he's like
yeah.
falling into the next like ladder or something. I'm just like, whoa! Like I literally like made like
At
a like I just like because I
least
felt
you
like I
didn't,
was on a roller coaster. It was cool.
at least you didn't get sick.
No, I get sick. Yeah, I got sick during Blair Witch Project. I went outside and threw up and then came back in. So
Yo,
good
they
times.
should go back and remake that movie with today's technology and just straighten out the camera.
Or just on a gimbal. Yeah, like on a Steadicam
Like,
gimbal.
yeah, well, they do it with the not the Zapruder film, the guy who filmed the famous Bigfoot, where he's walking and he looks behind him.
Oh, I see.
Somebody went and like stationed the Bigfoot, so it looks like you can see all the frames going wacky around it, but the center of the picture's
Oh,
steady,
weird.
so you
That's
can
weird.
actually see the Bigfoot walking better.
Some dude.
Yeah, it's most likely some dude.
Yeah, just some guy.
I seen a breakdown one time where somebody tried to prove it's fake, but I seen a better breakdown of someone trying to prove it's real. And I'm
Right.
like, oh my God, the guy trying to prove it's real really makes a lot of sense.
I think it's really weird.
Because
I think even a week or two ago they had like a Nessie photos and they're all bad. And I was like, how are photos bad? Like a new Nessie photo. And it's like, how are photos bad now? They can't be bad, right?
they're bad because you get nervous. Like me and Kathy were walking through the woods. You're gonna fucking laugh at this. I never told you a story. Walking through the woods in like Winona, and we're all of a sudden we're hearing a lot of owls, and all of these three owls are just they keep getting closer to us, like they're trying to protect something, and we're like I had to pick up a stick because I'm like I think these owls are gonna attack us. Like they're so like I had
Oh
never
my
seen
God.
owls in nature that close to me. I got a couple pictures. They're not great, but I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
don't attack me, owl. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it was freaky. Like they were like gonna kill us, like these owls, and I'm like, they're just birds, you know.
yeah, but I feel like now
Also
in
bigger
the
than I
world,
realized.
really.
Two things are bigger than you
Uh
realize: owls and
and
like
your
beavers.
penis. And your penis.
Is you'll never know.
I'll never know. Or
We're
what?
not.
Or do I?
No,
I don't
no
know.
White Lotus scenes for us.
No, I don't know.
No.
I'm not on White Lotus.
Beavers.
Not on it.
Beavers are huge. They're like up to your. Like, some of them go up to your waist.
You scared the shit out of me with talking to me about that one beaver story. Is that a real story that you know the person, or that was like a wives' tale story?
What the one who bit the guy's leg?
Yeah.
No, that's a news story. That's not a wife story. That's a
Oh,
news
okay,
story.
okay. I thought you said you
and
worked with
he
someone and they told you that.
no, that's like that thing on the news. The guy got bit by a beaver, but because their jaws and their teeth are so sharp, it just took out too much meat, and the guy like bled out like within minutes.
Yeah,
So
before the ambulance get there.
yeah,
Yeah,
before the
because I
ambulance could
yelled at
get
my
there.
daughter because she got a video. There in the creek behind us. She got like she was kind of close to it, and I was like, "Don't get near that." I like lectured her like crazy. So,
Yeah, they bite through trees.
see
Your legs are nothing to them.
my blood pressure go up. See
Especially
that?
especially
My face is all red now.
your daughters who are like sticks.
Yeah,
Like they look like branches.
right. Oh yeah, yeah.
Pale branches.
Yes, thank you. Very white. So, all right, here we go. Doing it live. So
So
our spiral back to this.
yes,
Okay. So if two is or actually so say they did two and three as UK. Is
right.
four can four possi can four be the Dreamwave stuff? Dreamwave was through Image, yes, and then went to Dreamwave or no
No, no, he purposely left Image to
to
launch
make some money
Transformers. Yes. He didn't want to give Image anything, which was a smart move.
for a
So
while.
I almost feel like Mark that four is not like I want it to be Dreamwave, but Dreamwave is a lot.
Yeah.
It's two 6 issue miniseries plus zeros. You got two War Within series that are 6 and 6 and a half completed, 10 issues of the ongoing. Transformers Armada alone is 35 issues. There's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
specials. There are more than meets the eye, which is like 8 issues that are like double sized.
Yeah, right.
So
And then Armada got
they
three issues, I think, of more than
right,
meets the eye. Yeah.
and they had an Energon one plan too when Armada changed to Energon.
Right.
So Transformers Dreamwave alone could be almost two compendiums.
Mm.
Separate out the Armada into one, and Transformers could be, you know. So I don't know. What else could four be? Four could be well, all the animation models got used
Uh,
in the Transformers universe books.
yeah, I mean, four could be, I think the best of UK um IDW collections had a lot of all the extra stuff that was in the UK stuff because they would have like
Yeah, like posters
activity
and
sheets and like yeah, they would have
puzzles
lots of
and
stuff. They
yeah,
would have repurposed like some repurposed art or repurposed posters and yeah, so that's
just a
so
collection of the
but I
toy
don't know.
art. Give us a collection of the toy art.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we
if
got
you're
that in the
sticking,
legacy book though. You know what I mean? That this has to be comic book, you know.
I agree with you, but like there's not enough Marvel stuff to fill for.
No, there's not. So that's why I don't know what it is.
But Dreamwave is too much.
Yeah, like okay, so when we talk about GI Joe A-Ra, which is a real American hero, right? So
Right,
this probably has to be Marvel because the Transformers More Than Meets the Eye is Marvel. That's like their A-Ra, right?
right.
So it has to be four.
You could,
Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're wrong on volume one. If we're wrong on volume one, then everything's wrong.
right. Um, it could be Regeneration. The IDW Simon Furman was
Oh
going to
yeah.
be Andrew
Hmm.
Wildman, but ends up being Guido Guidi. That's a continuation slash ending.
Which is like 81, technically 81, 82, right?
Yeah, right. It was a 20 years in the future, I think,
Hmm.
or
In the
whatever.
year 2025.
It is the year 2005. The treacherous Decepticons have conquered the Autobots' home planet of Cybertron.
Oh yeah, yeah. We
So
are in it.
we are. Yeah, we could talk about this stuff way too long. Way past your point of
We're on slide
enjoying it.
one. Slide one, baby.
All right.
Slide one. All right,
So
I'll go to
so
slide. Let's just
we're very curious.
yeah, we're moving right into slide two, which this was 4.5 minutes. I didn't really know this was coming. This was the CinemaCon they showed. They had like a whole interview thing. There's a lot of interviews and stuff. Did you see what's her name's dress? Did you see Miss Maisel's dress? What's her whatever
No,
her name is?
no, I didn't.
It was like a newspaper.
Oh,
It was
that's
really
fun.
cool. It was like a negative of a newspaper. Yeah, it was really cool. So um yeah, and anyway, so Superman sneak peek, 4.5 minutes. They had it at CinemaCon premiere. Then I saw the descriptions. Um, you know, you need to stay away from some of this stuff because there is they showed a scene or two, I believe, also not in this.
All right.
And yeah, I have to be really careful. I can't tell you what I know.
Yeah,
I didn't want to know, but I
I want to
know.
be surprised. I'm really trying hard. Like I obviously watched the 4.5 minutes.
Hmm.
Thumbs up, totally thumbs up to that. but I want to be surprised. I don't want to know who else is in it. I've heard some things, but like I can't think about it because if I think about it, my writer's brain will start creating things which will
Mhm.
probably be in the movie. So,
Well, then you
because we
also might be disappointed, like I was with Rogue One, where I thought too many things when I watched too much preview stuff, and I saw it, and then I
yes,
was mad about it. So
right. Transformers 1, I had this idea in my head that I thought for sure was going to happen. And when it didn't happen, I'm like, son of a gun. And I love Transformers 1. I think it's a great movie.
yeah,
But because that one thing didn't happen, I'm like, oh, it's so obvious. It kills me.
yeah. So yeah, but it was a lot of crypto. I mean, out of the 4 minutes, I'd say 2 minutes is crypto, which I'm not sure how they're going to really explain crypto, but I think it's really good. I do think it's funny
I
how
think
hurt
dog
he is.
lovers
Do you think
will
that's
love
the
this.
first couple minutes? Because I saw a couple reports that this is the first couple minutes of the movie.
That's a fine opening. That's a fine opening to this movie. Don't show me anything else. Don't
Yeah,
like I thought we were going to get another trailer, and I'm glad that we didn't. I'm glad that we got this. We probably still are going to get another trailer. The movie is still what
yeah,
3 months out, you know?
yeah. I wonder if we can not watch the next trailer. I wonder if we can pull that off.
If it just
Tough.
expands upon the scenes we've already seen, cool.
Well,
But if
even
it's
the
anything,
even the post trailer here had some stuff that was in teaser, which because it had the Daily Planet snapshot, which wasn't in, which was like, hey, tomorrow watch the trailer, which wasn't in the trailer. So
right?
they did some stuff that they added in because then they also have Lex talking for the first time in this, where he says,
Yes, that
"Let's
is
go."
first time. Yeah.
It's the same shot, and then they cut it 2 seconds after where he was like turns around, he's like, "Let's go," because I guess he's in the fortress. So, but anyway, so yeah, so basically, it's probably the whole entire scene with Crypto jumping on him, kind of beating him up, having him
So,
wanting him
which
to
is what dogs?
play.
Yes, he dog wants to play.
Yeah,
I wake up
that's
every
really
morning,
funny.
and when my dog doesn't wake me up, but she knows when I'm laying there, not wanting to get up. She's like, I don't understand. You're awake. You should be out of bed. Looking all over my face. I'm like, come on.
Right,
I just want to
right.
lay here. I'm old.
Be like, you don't
And
have the distractions I have, like it's in my brain.
yes, you don't
You
understand
know,
what I'm thinking about already. I wake up and my brain's just like going.
the worst.
I'm like Brainiac -1.
The worst. Um, so yeah, so we have that, and then he gets drug in, and I like that the way Fortress of Solitude kind of comes up. Is that from anything? Is Fortress of Solitude hidden, or do you think the Fortress of Solitude is like stationary, like the previous Superman movie? It's just crystals in Antarctica, in the Arctic
I think it's
Circle.
hidden. I think it's hidden because our
Yeah,
we have satellites and stuff that would find it too easily.
right.
Um, yeah, I think it's hidden, and I think even when it's up like even when it arises like that, it's probably at an angle because you saw the Fortress of Solitude is angled.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not like this Fortress of Solitude behind me.
Mhm.
You know, it's and it turns so when it faces the sun to help
I like
heal
that.
Superman.
That's new, right?
That's new as far as I know.
That's cool, man.
If I've seen it
Yeah.
before, it's been a long time. It's been a long
Also,
time, been a long time.
so basically, he gets carried in by a couple robots, and I guess the robots are making robots. So four is carrying him in. Well, they're all
Yeah,
carrying him in, but then he
right.
introduces four is Alan Tudyk, if you didn't know.
Okay.
That's not confirmed. That's just someone online writing that. But when you listen to it, probably um, because he just works alongside James Gunn, so that's fine. I don't know who the girl is yet. If
But it's
that's
probably someone in the James Gunn circle.
yeah, it could be his wife. It could be it could have been Michaela Hotness.
Right.
So yeah, but then they put him in, and I do think this shot's really kind of crazy too because it's a little more less uncharacteristic of Superman, like him screaming like in pain, and then them zooming back outwards. I think it's
No,
really cool. I've never
it's smart
seen
because
it. I
it's
like the
intensified.
costume though, man, because I think the costume. This is the
Yeah.
first time I saw the costume pop a certain way. Like
Yes. I agree with
it's
you.
the coloring of it is really interesting. Um, which I'll get into. Let me see. Oh no, let me go back here. Do. So this is some of the stuff. And when I showed my girlfriend this, we watched. She's like, he's a little thick. I'm like, yeah, it's a different like middle thickness. So this is going to be some of the ad stuff that's going to be out. But you're right. This is basically a good shot of the I guess yeah the sun coming up this way. Look, the sun's even on him a little bit here, which is
It
kind of neat.
it's funny because it looks like if you were to throw a rock into water and that's how it freezes.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
as it
that's cool.
splashes back up. Like it's a neat design.
Oh, what I thought about the optometrist when like the sun's coming in, they're just like, and the thing's turning like this. It's like when you have, can't, is this number one, number two? Is it better? When but they're literally
Oh yeah,
magnifying the sun and like, but that's when I saw that. I was like, oh, that's like kind of like the optometrist's office when they keep flipping stuff around.
better
Um,
like this or better like this?
yeah, number one, number two. You can really see his eyes in here.
Yeah,
That's a
good.
good cape.
They're like, let's get his eyes as
Oh, you
straight
can
as
see his
possible.
dong. You get his dong right there. Whoop,
That's I knew your eyes would go right to that.
super dong. Hey
Do you remember
man.
the rumor? Do you remember the rumor that Brandon Routh, like supposedly Bryan Singer hired him because he had a really big dong, and
Probably.
like they had to go back and CG out his dong, like in the movie, like it was too much of a bulge in his
That's
super
awesome.
pants.
Just like this guy, super dong. Yeah, so that's so far, you know, that's so far. Superman run. Yeah, so I'm good. I'm good with that. I think it's really solid. Now that we know a little bit about the trailer, I imagine the 12 is gonna, it's listen, so much of this, and I don't know if I want to read All Star again before this, because I mean, again, we feel
If
that the
if you're gonna
kaiju
read it,
that's in this
you should read it
is
now,
Jimmy. Right.
so you
You're right.
have 3 months to.
Some would forget it.
Yes,
Yeah, because that's Jimmy. I mean, we figure that Jimmy Olsen's going to be the kaiju. Also,
that's that's
you
a
you
spoiler that we
haven't
spoiled.
watched. Well, I mean, it's in the comic book, like you know what I mean. It's not.
It's in the
I don't
comic
know.
book, and
Right.
when you and I looked at the kaiju, we're like, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this.
It's
It's
really
probably
close.
yeah,
Yeah, it's really really close. So I feel certain things. It depends. I like the Birthright type of Krypton and Birthright Fortress. So I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know. I mean, again, like there's so much they can take from. There's so many different things. So. We also know that
yeah.
James Gunn isn't completely irreverent to the comics either. He makes his own like universe decisions. I'm not mad at it, so I'm all right. I'm fine.
No, we're open to interpretation on Superman. It's like there's certain lines you have to follow, and then certain things are open. So
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, look at the first movie compared to the comic. That is not any Krypton we had ever saw before.
right, right.
You know?
And I wonder if it's funny. It was almost like a new technology because they used kind of what they used for the lightsabers, right? They use that refractive like tinfoil. They're like, let's film in this, And I
Yeah.
guess a year or two later, Tron did it in a similar way. That's like it's like the new technology per. So this I pulled this because I thought these covers were really cool. Giant fucking sword homage variant. So I think it's kind of funny. This book's coming out in 2 weeks. It's called Lost Fantasies. It's Kurt Pyers. And I feel like I've seen this person, Luca Casalanguida. I feel like I've seen some of that, both of those people, but I can't really place what they're saying here. James Bond, and I don't know. I didn't see any of that, but I just really like the way that there's like a PlayStation 1,
Right. It
like
looks like
Final
looks
Fantasy
yeah.
7. I think that's really cool. I like this is tight too. I like how tight that is. That looks really good.
Yeah, we had a whole
Giant size
conversation.
Lost
I think
Fantasy.
when Wonder Woman had her sword, we were talking about giant size swords.
Yeah, yeah. I do feel that it's a little played out. Like I feel like that they took it and Magic has the same sword and New Absolute Wonder Woman has the same sword. And I'm just like,
Right.
it's a little played out. So like this seems to be something a little bit different, but I'm okay with like Image taking it. I'm jumping back to this for a second because I don't know. I came across this
Yeah.
somewhere. Do you know what is this? Do you know what this is?
This is yeah, it's a magazine. After Megaton Comics had ended, one of the cries, I think Chris Ecker wanted to do his own like battle axe, some sort of sword and sorcery style magazine. So Berserker is a character from Megaton created by Gary Carlson. The first, you know, well, I think who Angel Medina drew some of it. I think
Yeah.
this story actually is drawn by Angel Medina. Yeah, it is Angel Medina.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It did get reprinted later in Berserker comics put out by Caliber in 1994.
Hmm.
But yeah, just a sword and sorcery. I think only one came out. I don't know if the second one came out or not. I think it was
I think
supposed to.
just one. Yeah, I was looking around for it. I don't have a scan of it. I was trying to see, a pretty good archive scan of a lot of stuff. A
I
lot
don't
of,
know if I don't know if I have a scan of it,
yeah.
or at the very least I scanned my own the first story because it's Megaton. I think I scanned that myself, so I can send you that much.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, yeah. I
I'll
think the
take it.
rest of it was just like I don't think it was really particularly good. I know you want to read it just because you want to read all,
Well, yeah, I want to read because though they might have like a Mike Grell either interview. I mean, it is comics interview where they had their own kind of comic line. They had their own some of the comics that came out from
but
that,
but
which always
but honestly,
confused
these
me.
are these are pretty cheap on eBay for the most part.
Yeah, yeah, I'll look around. I mean, it's I'll
But
see.
like, I could never find one out in the public. I looked for
Now,
20 years out in the public.
yeah, I mean, it's funny what I can. I mean, just even I might have this in a future markdown, but we talked recently about because you need you're going to be selling some young blood on your eBay, and you need a young blood four. So I was out in the wild this week, found you a young blood four, but I'm going to keep the one that I found because it's in worse condition, and I give you my better condition one.
Right.
But
And
I
you
found a
like it.
Malibu Sun. Woo!
Well, you like the Youngblood because there's like a 99-cent sticker
There's
on
a
it.
99-cent sticker on the back of it, which is funny, which is on the Deathmate which is on a deathmate thing. Oh, what did I say? Like, God, I saw something else too this week where I was looking at, I think someone scanned a Wildstorm Rising. Was there a Deathmate Black t-shirt? Was that ever made? They had a design for the t-shirt. And it had like
Probably.
it had a real weird it was Jim Lee, but it had a real weird
T-shirts.
like Warblade, like with his arm down, but the arm was not finished. So I don't even know if the sketch was finished, if it ever came out.
Hmm.
I gotta look that up.
Yeah,
I gotta,
that's the thing. Yeah, T-shirts in the 90s were really hard to come by. Like the early 90s. Like once you were at Legends, we started getting modern T-shirts,
right.
which by the way, I think I've mentioned on another episode. I sold all my T-shirts that are a little too small for me back in the pandemic era, and I made a fortune. But like, I was only buying shirts that like the art wasn't available in a comic. Like there's a Jim Lee Wolverine like standing on a mountain of skulls,
Mm,
like never used in a comic, but they put it on
right.
a T-shirt.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
like,
I remember that.
like you
Yeah.
you sons of guns.
And look how bad the pit, like the logo is. So this is
Yeah,
Malibu Sun. So Malibu for the first 6 months or so, but then you have a good black and white of the same image. But then they also have this image, which is like I don't think is in anything. This is what we're saying. We're saying like we need to do shows.
yeah.
Then they have a mock-up here of the pit, and then
Dale
they also
Keown,
have.
when issue two came out of Pit, like 6 months later, it's really fun. It's totally different comic. Like the coloring is totally different.
I hate
I
it
think
for
you,
that reason though. I don't like it
but
for that
there's
reason.
like he put out an ash can like, oh, here's 2 pages I left out of Pit number two, and it's just more pages of him like climbing and jumping. I'm like, why didn't you put this in the book? Like, just make it extra pages of
That
you
was in the
drew it.
ash can.
I think it was in the ash can. I'm like, you drew this stuff. Why would
Right.
you keep it out? Look at all that Pit stuff you
Come
just
on, man.
found.
Come on.
None of it was used.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It
Yeah,
is crazy.
like that this would be and this is basically going back to like Dale Keown's roots. Like I imagine that he colored that because if you go back to Dragon Force and stuff, he colored that
Yeah.
himself. So like this is closer to that. And this is his like weird, like a little too weird like skin tone,
He didn't
right?
know he didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
Like he didn't know
He
like
said
he
he was
originally
green at
wanted to
one point.
make Pit green. And then when he decided to make him that color, he's like, well, I'll give him green blood. But then the Star Trek movie had come out. Star Trek,
First contact?
no, the last original crew, Final Frontier,
Oh, undiscovered country.
Undiscovered Country. When Undiscovered Country comes out, then the Klingons get killed in the beginning, their blood's purple. And he's like, oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna make Pitt's blood purple.
So fun fact about me and Rob, we're pretty sure that we've seen every Star Trek film kind of together, either together
Right.
since Generations, because
Six
we saw
generations.
Generations with our dads the first showing Friday after school, which was like 4:30. And back then there wasn't on 20 multiplexes. We would have went to Deptford 8,
We
AMC
went to
8.
Deptford.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we were there not knowing each other somewhere. Yeah. So that's pretty fun.
It is
So
fun.
fun fact, fun fact. So these were yet another, this was
A lot of
another,
people, a lot of
I,
people have said about this.
yeah, I don't like that. So Longbox Heroes collection, and this says collection wave two. I don't know what's in wave one. I'm not sure. I didn't look at that. But, this does have the new Space Grendel Prime, and that I would really like because that Grendel Prime that's been in the last like two Grendel series is
Right.
the best. It's so cool. So I'm not excited about, yeah, that this is not a thing.
No,
Um,
it's a shame because people are like, oh, this is the only time I've ever been able to get Malcolm Dragon, like Dragon's son, the star of the current
right.
established Dragon series.
Yeah.
These green slime pit that's made out of his snot, I believe, like from the cartoon. Like these are really fun toys. And because of the tariffs are going to hit the toy market
Bad.
bad,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
bad. I don't know. Do you talk about McFarlane later, or do we just bring it up now?
We can bring up. Yeah, I don't think I have it. I don't think I've
Okay.
told it.
Same.
Yeah.
McFarlane's got to start increasing his prices now because of the tariffs. That people are like, "Oh, McFarlane." He's like, "What do you want me to? I can't do anything. You can't afford to lose money. You're a business." And
Right.
that's the most pro-business stuff you'll ever hear from me because I'm usually very anti-corporation. McFarlane's not a corporation,
Yeah, but
although,
McFarlane, for the most part, like, I mean, those statues shouldn't be $50. I mean, those things are pretty intense for $50. That's pretty crazy. That's really good.
no,
You know what I
I
mean? Like
was, yeah,
maybe $30 for the Deadpool, you know.
I was at Walmart last night in Deptford, and I went right to the media section because that's where you keep them. They don't keep them with the toys, Pops, and the McFarlane statues, and a bunch of other really nice toys. All the collectibles that would go to a comic store are in the media section. And they had the Kirby Thor, and they had
Mm.
the Clayton Clayton Venom, and they
Oh,
had
okay.
the Iron Man, the Giant
Iron
Man
Man.
Junior Iron Man, and they're
Hmm.
all beautiful looking. But they didn't have my McFarlane Hulk. I'm like, you sons of guns. He has said in an interview he's doing less lines on the toys. He says he feels like they didn't work. And I'm like, no,
Mm.
I thought they did work.
The Kirby
Like
one
put all
works perfect.
the
The
Kirby one
Kirby's
works.
perfect.
The McFarlane ones work. The Liefeld one works. Like make
Yeah.
it look like I don't know. I thought that was a cool thing. Like I guess he says he doesn't feel they're getting it right yet.
Yeah, the
And
cap, I
he's
think I saw the cap on something this week, and the cap was on sale for like 30. I think that's a 50. I think that's like half off on some sites.
oh
But
yeah,
I think some stuff's starting to dry up, you know, and I don't know if that license can continue. I hope so. I hope so.
it's
You know,
he's got
he's got a lot.
70
He's got wave
years.
four. Yeah, he's got a
Yeah.
lot coming
Yeah,
out.
keep it coming, you know. Tariffs are hitting the toy industry hard. That's unfortunate. We also fear it's going to hit the comic industry. We get so many comics printed in Canada,
Mhm.
I think there's a tax on softwood, insert joke here. And that includes
Softwood, baby.
toilet. That's right. That includes
Pills for that.
softwood. Wasn't that the name of the parody magazine when Mad Magazine was going away? I'm spiraling out of control here. But when
Mm.
they said Mad Magazine was going away, Heavy Metal with Tim Seeley made a magazine called Softwood, like heavy metal
Oh,
softwood.
I don't know.
And that was like their replacement Mad Magazine parody book. But I feel like only one issue came out. And Eric Powell was going to do a book too. I don't think that ever came out either.
That's
He was
weird
going
because
to do,
he's usually pretty good at putting stuff out. Like he
he
does.
is.
He's prolific. I'm not saying he's putting out junk. I'm saying he's prolific. He puts a lot of stuff out. What did he put out? He put out Lester. I never read that. The Lester of the Lesser Gods. I think it's rated that just came out, which is
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
is like a bad.
I read.
He's bad at stuff. He's like a
Yeah,
Thor
yeah.
character, but he's bad. He's
Yeah,
bad at
I
it.
think I read the first miniseries. I didn't read the second miniseries. Like the
Yeah,
Goon is must read for me. Like his Goon comic is always top
yeah,
notch.
yeah. They put out some pretty good collections. The like the archive collections they just put out, I think are
Yeah.
really good.
One of the things I don't like is he took like the colors to I think the original series and like kind of muted them some. Because that's the way he likes to color it now. It's very a muted
Oh yeah,
style.
yeah,
So he went back to the old stuff and kind of muted it down. I'm like, I like the original colors, but whatever.
yeah.
And I think one miniseries he just took away the Dave Stewart cover, the Dave Stewart colors. Period.
I have the hardcover, the Chinatown hardcover, which I think is the most it's kind of the most mainstream pulp that he did, and he it's more humorous in the regular book, but I like that one the most because it's just a little bit more my taste.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
tremendous. It's
I
tremendous.
think it's less funny
It's not funny.
because
Yeah.
it's not funny. It's
It's not
not
funny,
because the
but I
Goon before
like
that
it.
was always wacky, but
Yeah,
he got real serious and
I felt like
it's
at
good.
first when it was coming out, it was like just a Hellboy knockoff. It was like a Hellboy knockoff, but then they have like a character being like jokey next to him, you know. So, and I just was like, nah. But yeah, so this is a bummer, you know. I feel like they've already had a Kevin. They already had a Dragon. Dragon was through what? Playmates, or
There
McFarlane
was a
did one
dragon.
too,
McFarlane did one. Well, yeah, it was
and then
Playmates
Legendary Heroes
with
did
with
one.
with the Jim Lee Turtles, correct. Then McFarlane did one, and then yeah, the Legendary Heroes one. They're the ones who had to build a pit,
Yeah,
right?
I saw that pit in at a toy show, and it was like $180, and it's really good looking.
It's really heavy, but it's really you always feel like it's gonna fall apart. But it's heavy.
Yeah,
I had it, but I
you
sold it
had
for a
it.
lot.
Jesus God.
I know. Mark, the stuff
Oh,
I had and sold over the years.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really and it's weird they never made like a new pit toy, right? Is that the only pit
Nah, that's
toy?
the only pit toy. Yeah, so because I have the Legendary Heroes, like this is the Claudio Castellini Conan with uh and the packaging's not that great. So I probably could take it out and then have him back in there if I wanted to. But yeah, that has a picture of the pit in the back.
Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, I don't know who Liefeld just announced. He's about to announce his next two extreme characters from Loose Collector. Like he did uh, Blood
Bloodstrike.
Wolf,
I did
and
Blood Wolf.
he did Blood Wolf, and he did Cabot Bloodstrike.
Right, right.
So I don't know what the next two are going to be. I have a feeling it'd be Battlestone. I don't think he's I don't think he's going to do the Youngblood toys. I think that's a separate deal.
Hmm.
So he's just going to stick to his extreme characters. Could be Prophet, could be Evangeline.
So you're
Evangeline he might
saying
hold off on.
the pit series that you had. So you had to buy Ripclaw, Judge Dredd, Super Patriot, Madman, Savage Dragon, Witchblade, and
No,
that had all the pits.
I bought it at a show for like $40.
You bought the pit all together for $40?
Yes, for 40
Jesus
bucks.
God.
Yeah. And then I sold it for like 200.
Mm. And then the other one they had the Monkey Man series, which was Marv Star, Striker, Striker with three arms. How he's not falling over, I'm not too sure. Judge Death,
Striker, Striker.
Darkness, Striker, Striker. Ann O'Brien, and then Monkey Man was the that Monkey Man
Build,
looks good too. Jesus.
dude. You know,
Then they
not
had a twin
having
pack of body bags. Woo.
I every year I talk to Art Adams. What did I had a really great Art Adams conversation at Heroes Con, God, 20 years ago when Eric Larson was publisher. And I talked to both of them at the same show about doing a Monkey Man and O'Brien hardcover. Art Adams like, yeah, I should go talk to Eric Larson. And then I talked to Eric Larson. Eric Larson like, yeah, I should go talk to Art Adams. So I felt like I was getting something done because I
Mm.
really wanted this Monkey Man O'Brien hardcover.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
he's got what, a couple miniseries. He's got the
Oh,
backups in Hellboy.
yeah. Yesterday I got and I don't know if this is. I imagine this is printed somewhere, or actually it might be in the Monkey Man and O'Brien like one shot they did where they colored a lot of the Dark Horse Presents stuff.
Uh-huh.
But I got the Dark Horse Insider, which was their previews, which was their inside image, their Malibu Sun, basically.
Right.
And it's the first Seed of Destruction cover. And it's literally like the interview before Seed of Destruction came out. So it's the first Hellboy, I guess, not the first Hellboy, which is, I guess, what San Diego Comic-Con number
Right, right.
4, whatever the hell that was. But the back of that has like a 4-page black and white Art Adams, like Monkey Man and O'Brien story. That's not, and then I looked at the back. I'm like, there's no back cover. It's like, I don't even know this is in there. It doesn't even say it on the cover.
Yeah.
I don't even, so
We
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's lying around
we
that,
love Mark and I are obsessed with like Inside Image, Malibu Suns, Marvel Ages, like all the stuff that like showcases books coming out. And
yeah,
then when they don't happen, we're like, it's frustration, but we
right.
love finding this gold. Though it
Yeah.
sucks we never got a Monkey Man O'Brien hardcover.
Yeah, well, maybe, I mean,
Literally 20
I
years ago,
guess
I had this
Image.
conversation with him,
Yeah, I guess Image could do something like that.
and Mitch was going to
Uh,
do it. But I don't think Art Adams has a problem with Dark Horse, or, you know, and can you make a handshake deal with DC to get in the Gen 13 Monkey Man and O'Brien crossover?
yeah, how does that work? I mean, like, do they have to ask Silvestria when they did that Wildcats compendium?
Yes.
Did they have to ask Liefeld on, I guess, what is that, Wildcats 3?
The yeah, there's a handshake deal. They probably told Liefeld they don't really have to get your permission because
Mm,
the Image deal was we're allowed to use each other's characters, let each other's know, and you have perpetual reprint rights.
mhm.
That's why Larson, when he did his Ultimate Dragon collection, he can put in the Wildcats issue that he drew.
Right. Oh,
You
okay.
know, um,
Right.
he goes and Larson's like, yeah, I don't know why Jim Lee didn't put his Dragon Grifter one shot in the Wildcats Absolute. Like that's Jim Lee artwork.
Yeah, it's
Jim
weird
Lee owns that.
because that technically could fit inside of the storyline in between 14 and 15.
Yeah, yeah, and it's Jim
Because it
Lee,
because
quote
it rep
unquote.
wait, so because
What are you
that
talking
was
about?
I'm thinking about Wildcats, right? So
Okay,
Wildcats Compendium came out. Oh, and they did do, I saw a review for it. They did do the fold out, the number 5.
okay,
So that's
great.
kind of cool. Yeah, they did like the entire fold out. Like they have it. So number 5, if anyone doesn't know of the Wildcats 5, and I don't think it's been done again, is a long, it folds out 4 times, right? No, 8. Is it 8? It's 4 and 4?
It's yeah, it's right. It's
One,
four
two, three,
pages
four.
across,
Okay.
but there's like a 4 page pinup, and then on the other side, I think it's a 4 page pinup,
Yeah.
right?
I think
So
I think when it opens, it's 3 out or something like that, and on the one side, then it goes that. I'll put it in. So I got to put in the Wildcats
take notes.
5. I know this is what
Yeah,
takes it added longer. Awesome.
Wildcats 5 came bagged with a card too, if I remember correctly.
Or was that four? I just
Hmm.
got a four. Just got a four yesterday.
Oh, you just got it. Okay, so maybe
Yeah,
you. All right.
polybagged. I have five, but I think four came with something.
Four came polybagged. Two had the hollow foil cover.
Mhm. Which is no, there's no good way to reprint that. I've seen some bad. I hate the Wildstorm like reprint of that. I hate
You
it.
know, recent
Bad.
Valiant bought rolls of that cover of that hollow foil cover, and
Mm.
they put recent Valiant comics on that cover.
Oh, really? Jesus.
Recent, like 5 years ago. Yeah, yeah. This company that the company that did the Wildcats 2 cover still had rolls of that material.
Jesus
So
God.
Valiant's like, yeah, we'll buy that cheap and utilize it for covers.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I know that's fun.
All right, so that's a bummer. Who is Hedge Ninja? Do we know who that is? I also don't know. I tried to look up who Hello Fire is too, and couldn't find anything on that thing. Hello Fire is next to Betty, next to Cliff Secord, which I guess does that mean Rocketeer toy licensing is open? Is it wasn't Rocketeer owned by Disney? It's weird. Um, Hedge Ninja don't know, and a mystery figure don't know. I also don't know how you do this, but yeah. So here's a little bit what they're saying here. Essentially, if our production cost is a figure of $10, your tariff increases that to 15. In addition to licensing fees, internal production costs, tooling, distribution, and a single figure would now cost $40 for backers once all tariff, shipping, and factors are factored in. And you said that you said what's his name? You said that McFarlane talked about this last week a little bit too.
Yeah, yeah. McFarlane too. He's like, I think he's starting to raise the prices, which
Mm.
sucks. It's a bad move for toy lines
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean,
because you can't make this stuff here. People are like,
right.
well, the tariffs are supposed to help make American manufacturing grow. Yeah, but you can't. American manufacturing would take 10 years to build that up, you
We
know?
can't just decide that a toy manufacturer is in Indiana, right? We can't just
Right.
decide that. That's not a
And
thing.
and and what are you going to pay these guys, Minimum wage in Indiana is probably like $7, you know?
Yeah, it's not great. Here's some other. Let's grab it before the tariffs come on this. This is coming out in October, so maybe it won't be 24.99, right? Um,
Yeah.
I do
You're
like
right.
that they're doing the packaging too. I think the packaging is really cool. But I
Yeah.
was thinking
It
about
looks like
this.
it almost looks like a 90s toy.
Yeah, and there's a Spider-Man one, or there's a Fantastic Four one coming up, which is the Toy Biz packaging. But like, would I buy a hairy like like what would I do with this thing? I
Just look in
don't
the
think
mirror if you
I'd
want to see
buy
a
it.
hairy naked dude.
Ugh, weird. These I think that they're doing a cool job. Hasbro doing with like the poses and stuff. I think the poses are kind of fun. So this is a Madame Mask Crossbones. Um, I prefer like either original art or if you have it have the same artist. But I'm not really sure if Madame Mask would have been drawn by Epting either. So I'm not too sure. I feel like this
I don't
Madame
know.
Mask costume design. I feel like that's from like David Marquez or someone. I feel like that's not this. This isn't
Yeah.
the same timelines. I think there's two different timelines.
Right.
Doesn't matter. Both cool designs, look great. I think these look good, but I think like the posing
I
that
mean,
they're doing on
yeah.
these photos are pretty funny. Just a bunch of money in there. Maybe only one's loose, or maybe it's not loose at all, or maybe it's just one pack. But I do
Yeah,
like
it's
that there's
just
one just kind of sitting there on top. I
that's the way it
think
always
that's kind
is.
of neat. Yeah.
Just to show that it's
And
real.
then they flip it through it and make sure one pack is good, just one, and then we'll go.
They always check the one.
Yeah, so here's the old Fantastic Four packaging, the old Toy Biz packaging. So I think that's pretty fun. Although I don't remember when did she have this ponytail? I think it's
There's
hot.
probably like,
I think it looks cool, but I
oh
don't
yeah,
remember
always
this at all.
we're children of the 90s. That's always a thing for us. Um, yeah, it's probably like in one issue somewhere. I mean, it's not on a cover because we would have recognized it right away.
Yeah, I mean maybe
What?
it's the
Whose art did they use? You couldn't have found a John
uh
Byrne
no, I feel like
page?
I feel like that the art that they're doing here is I feel like it could be like Nakayama or someone. You're right, it's someone emulating the cartoon. So this is
Yes,
technically the
I
cartoon.
guess it's the cartoon. Right, right.
Yeah. So that's okay. I mean, I just thought it was cool. And this is here's the new and apparently a lot of people don't like that there is this I think is going to be 60 or no, it says it didn't say they expected this to be probably $60. So this the maximum series that they're coming out is trying to compete. It's Hasbro trying to compete with the SH Figure Arts and I mean, so I get it. There's a lot of stuff in here, but also they pose the shit out of this. Um, and
That's
I
awesome.
can't really tell. Like, I feel like there's a couple Hulk faces that they're doing here. I feel like this. I feel like that's the '70s Hulk head because it
For
has the
sure.
hair,
The hair, right.
but the hair's a little too extra and the teeth are a little too extra. But I do like that, and maybe some of my did it not. I guess it did not may or may not have uploaded the right way. Anyway, but I feel like that's a McGinnis head.
That's McGinnis. The 70s is like the Sal Buscema, Herb Trimpe, the big teeth, but the teeth look like Dale Keown teeth. It's like let's do Dale Keown
Yeah,
teeth with Buscema hair. And
yeah,
I guess that one is that his hair like coiffed back like Professor Hulk or like a like
yeah. I guess I feel like it's yeah. They're trying to do like a '90s Hulk, but I just don't know if it works. I don't think that's the worst head. I never use that head. I would probably do that head. And I like
yeah.
that he's doing that. They're doing like the clap.
Yeah, the clap's fun.
The clap, which took him a long time to, and took She-Hulk 2 seconds, 2 seconds to figure it out. No problem, even though he has a manual and he gave her a manual.
Yeah.
This was the promotion. This was the Jim Lee promotion for this his one-on-one interview talk with McFarlane, which is pretty good. It's like an hour long from WonderCon. Was that
WonderCon,
WonderCon?
yeah, I listened to it. It was good.
It was pretty good,
Yeah.
but we find it funny because we've read so many interviews over time. There is some license on story. What discrepancies do you remember from that interview?
Oh, when they were talking about the formation of Image and
Yeah.
uh, Todd likes to put himself in there with the formation of Image, but really he was like the fourth person to join. Like
Mm,
he does admit that it was always Liefeld first, but Liefeld, Larson, and Valentino, it was always going to be them three. Like
mm.
those three were closer friends. Liefeld and Valentino particularly were friends, and they all talked to Larson a
Studio.
lot.
He was in his.
Yeah, they
I thought
had a
was in the
studio
studio for
together,
a long time.
so they were just going to do their own independent thing before it was even Image. They were going to do an anthology of just those three. And then they brought McFarlane into it, which became, but McFarlane had to be convinced. McFarlane was trying to do, McFarlane almost went back to Marvel. McFarlane thought about going to DC. McFarlane wanted to do his own hockey card. He wanted to make a sports card
Front
company.
row. Front
Front
row.
row, that's right. But yeah, so
Not the
McFarlane
upper
tells a
deck, front
story.
row.
What bugs me about it is he at one point is like, yeah, and then Rob wanted to bring in Jim Valentino. I'm like, okay. I'm like, what? No, they brought you in. Like,
Right.
don't change the story. We all know the story. That's three against one. And, I don't know if he's just remembering it wrong or he's trying to form a new narrative.
Right. But
So,
yeah, it's weird. But then there was also something where he was saying that, and I kind of feel this is true. I feel like I feel the opinion, and I feel like this is still true of Jim Lee, is Jim Lee is very corporate because of probably his Korean heritage, which is, I'm not making that up. That's literally what he talks about through half of it, of how his parents were disappointed in him, throwing out his comics, using his comics as like a divider. When he had a flat tire, they were using it to like,
yeah,
pull
to help it.
people away from like Jesus God. He still has that comic, which I think is pretty fun.
Stuck in the snow and they use it to like help get stuck out of like out of the snow or something or in the
Oh
mud.
my Lord. Yeah,
Yeah,
just really crazy.
terrifying, terrifying stuff.
But McFarlane's opinion is that he signed on. This is such retro continuity bullshit. He's like, I'll sign on because like if this guy is going to be this business minded and he's going to go there and he's going to like cut the ties, then I'll go. And then Jim Lee does a good conversational reversal and say, "Oh, I went because you went." You know what I mean? And who knows? Again, it's so loose on all the things, but I do like some of the stories I don't think I heard before of like Liefeld jumping on the bed and there's a baby there. I think Cyan was there or something during one
Yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
meetings. Like they're all
Or
starting their families and stuff, so it's kind of fun. You know,
one of the stories I liked was oh man, I just lost it because I was thinking about Liefeld on the bed, and there's a story where Liefeld falls asleep at a meeting. There's a story where Liefeld leaves because he's got to go pick up his girlfriend at the time.
right, right, right.
Oh, it was Jim Lee. Jim Lee was really he didn't come to a decision real quick about leaving Marvel for Image. And Liefeld's talking to him on the phone. He's like, "Yeah, but I got like benefits through Marvel." And Liefeld goes, "Hey, you can buy benefits. Like the money they make, like you can just get and benefits weren't a lot of money back then. They were probably like
Right,
$50 a month,
right,
not
right.
like trying to get benefits today where it's like 1,000 a month. Let's not
Hmm.
get into that. So yeah, it was just funny. Like Life was like, you can buy benefits. You can buy insurance. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it was just kind of funny.
Yeah, I wonder what there's a this I follow this guy, which is Jim Lee period X-Men, where he has sketches. This guy recolors some of the Jim Lee sketches. So I was looking through his Instagram a lot yesterday when I got my haircut. I was waiting for it. But this is I wonder what he does with this. What does he do with this? Does he sell it for like I feel like Jim Lee, the way he is, his
Does he sell it
teeth.
for $40,000?
Yeah, but I feel like most of the time when he sells stuff that is an X-Men thingy because he's a DC vice president, I feel like he just gives it to charity. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he draws this for fun to promote this thing, and then what does he do with this? And
I don't think his recent stuff is charity. I think that's he's paying for 9 kids at his house.
right,
But however, during COVID, I think Liefeld started it and Jim Lee followed suit. They made hundreds of thousands of dollars to help support comic stores during COVID.
yeah, yeah, they were doing
That
sketches and selling sketches and giving the proceeds. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, that was really incredible. And I'm sure, and I tried to get 2 of our local comic stores in there. I'm like, hey, I try to get Bill Beat in there, honestly. I'm like, get Bill Beat some money.
He'll
You
find the
know,
money. He's
Bill
got people. Oh, there we go.
Bill Beat's our local one of our it's Frankenstein Comics in Woodbury, New Jersey. It's just like a literal hole in the wall. It's just boxes on
It's
foldable
boxes on.
tables.
I can't shop there. My
It's like
OC
a
doesn't let
yard
me shop
sale.
there.
It's
I
like a
can't shop
yard
there.
sale of comics in a store. Yeah.
I can only go there when he has his sales because he puts a bunch of tables outside and he brings and then you can actually look at everything.
But
But
he's
when I
got
go in
great
there
stuff.
now, I'm too heightened. But the problem is like I can't
It's a
it's so
mess.
separated that I can't figure out like, oh, that's a $10 box. Okay, there's some sets. Like there's no rhyme or reason in that
Mhm.
store. And I just don't understand it. I can't do it. I can't
But
do
we
it.
love Bill. We love Bill. Bill's got great stories. He worked for Diamond in
Yeah.
like the late 80s, early 90s. Hates Steve Jeppy.
Well,
Good
I went to
stuff.
Ron's yesterday, and then Ron's Comic World up in Hainesport, and the thing with Ron's store is that basically he knows that they make all their money off these magic things, and he has like two people that run the magic stuff. So if you go there, it's not covering bins or anything like that, but he redid his dollar books a little bit. He had a couple Conans, and it was okay. But I'm not really sure what they're doing on Comic like Focus wise. I'm not really sure exactly how that works. It's not a focused comic book store, but I could dig around and I found some low grade Red Sonja, some low grade Cull. So he'll have like 3 or 4 issues of Cull, same issue, like seven, and it would be like a
Do
$10, a
you
$7, $3, a two
do you
dollar.
have the Red Sonja comic that came out in between Marvel and Dynamite? I think it's got like a
No,
Steve Lytle cover.
that is through. I just looked at that. It's so weird you said that. I looked at that this morning. I have a scan of it. It's through Cross Plains Publishing. And I remember we at Legends we carried Cross
Yeah, we
Plains
got it.
Publishing where we got Robert E. Howard's Storyteller, I think it was called, which had Raphael Kainan in it, which had like I think
Okay.
Val Mayrick and I think it didn't have Liam Sharp, but it had somebody Bart Sears maybe had a pin up in that. Um, but no, like Cross Play, it was right in between the Robert E. Howard stuff, and that might have been the time that that other book came out. It was around 99. That would make sense, yeah, because that came out in 90, or that might have actually came out in 90, the one I was talking about earlier uh when it was Core Mac Man, whatever, Core Man Mac, whatever. Uh but no, that Cross Plains, yeah. And what sucks is I was looking at that today. I looked at a scan of that and Steve Lytle, gorgeous art. And in the back it talked about other books that were coming out or said available now. And I don't know if they're real. Like I don't know if
Uh,
I'm not sure. There was like another adaptation that said that Ray Garcia did with Steve Lytle. I'm not sure what that means. Ray Garcia has some really crazy pinups that I think I've sent to you, which are very 90s pinups. So I want this to be real because Ray Garcia inked Tom Tenney on Forceworks, but Ray
yes.
Garcia also inked a Robert E. Brown on like a Conan pinup or Conan story that I think
Hmm.
I sent to you. I was like, look at this fucking story. It's in a super late Savage Sword of Conan, and it's so like almost like McFarlane,
Oh
Jim
yeah.
Lee. It's so crazy
I love
looking.
that. I had to go find that issue because I was looking for Robert E. Brown stuff.
Yeah.
I just feel like he never got to his best. He needed like a darker inker. He should have. It's a shame he couldn't have hired like Jamie Biggs. Jamie
Mhm.
Biggs is a friend of mine who like has a McFarlane style, but like a true McFarlane style. You know what's weird? In the 90s, they'd always hear Peter David was always like, "Oh, you just draw like McFarlane." I'm like, "Yeah, one guy's doing it and not to great success."
Right. Right.
Like everyone would just be like, "Oh, everyone's trying to draw like McFarlane." Are they? I never see them.
No, you couldn't.
Like,
It's not as easy. It wasn't as easy as Live thought it wasn't easy, and sometimes even Jim Lee. You know what I mean? Like
but
where
isn't it funny as you get older, you go back and you look at that stuff and like, did I think Scott Clark drew like Jim Lee for a couple issues of Stormwatch before he found his own? He really didn't. Brett Booth,
no,
like inspiration for sure. But
mm,
go look at any Murat Michaels, Dan Fraga stuff. Doesn't really look like Liefeld.
right,
Like,
right,
I mean, our eyes are just better. We could see through it. Bloodstrike was like laid out by Liefeld, so
mm.
it's very Liefeld-ish. But like Dan Fraga didn't draw like Liefeld.
No, no, and then especially when he would draw when he went to Black Flag and he went to Kid Supreme and did he do an issue that live? Did he do? He did the X Youngblood Image X Braga finished Valentino
He
layouts.
right, he did the inks and finishes at the
Hmm.
very least inks on Valentino doesn't like to ink his own superhero work. He only likes to ink his cartoon style. So yeah, Fraga finished that for Youngblood 9, the
Braga.
Image X month. I mean, he did an issue of Supreme
Hmm.
during Supreme Madness.
Supreme Madness. Right.
He
Yeah,
has
yeah.
an unpublished Superman comic. Did you not want to hear this? He has I forget I don't
How?
think DC had him do I guess it was a fill-in issue and then it never got published.
Oh
I've seen
crap.
a couple pages and it looks good.
I was gonna text you yesterday because I was looking through. I got Batman Legends of the Dark Knight Zero, which has a Casada cover. It basically is previewing the next 2 years of books that are going to come out. So it has like a frame story by Alan Grant,
All
but
right. I
then
I think I remember this book.
it had covers. So it had the Mike Zeck cover of like a story he did maybe 10 issues out. But there's a Mike Barr page, Mike Barr, Brian Murray page in there. And it said the book was called Taz, T-A-Z, like Tasmanian Devil, and he's fighting this guy.
Speaking of Brian Murray, I tried to reach out to him through his website when I first started doing the Maximum Supreme
Hmm.
Twitter page. I figured I would like try to interview him, but he didn't get back to me. Pops up on my Facebook page this week, like, hey, you want to be friends with Brian Murray? I'm like, fuck yeah, I do. Like,
Right.
so he just accepted my friend request like today. I'm like, Brian
Oh,
Murray, I'm friends with Brian
we're
Murray.
talking about Brian Murray's in the ether. But I looked that up. I looked up Mike Barr, Brian Murray, Batman. That's it, one page. But then it's like, oh man, it's like almost 100 issues later. There is a Mike Barr story, which has a character that kind of looks like that, but looks a little bit different with like a
Mark,
newer guy.
write down that question. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, Brian Murray,
Taz.
we will interview Brian Murray on the show one day. I have to not try to kill him with Supreme questions.
Young All Stars. We'll
Young,
start with Young
I
All
I
Stars.
I love Young All Stars. I
Yeah.
legit loved Young All Stars before I was
Where we knew that
into.
was Brian Murray.
Yeah, it's true.
Right. Hmm.
There's a page where there's like a bunch of zombies or something, and Liefeld inked that page in secret.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
know.
they were just hanging out. They were buddies because I think Brian Murray was friends with Valentino as well.
Right. All in that Bay
So
Area. Um, So anyway, spiraling back, let's get back to news. So then, yeah, I guess some of my screenshots are out of order. So this is the very much like McGinnis said. McGinnis said,
yes, begin to said
um, now we've talked about we're very Wolverine and Deadpool fatigued. So to have a miniseries announced called Wolverine and Deadpool's a 3 issue series, I'm just like, oh. And first off, 3 issue series, like that's not good for trades. You know what I mean?
no,
Like I don't
that's a
know what.
skinny trade.
Yeah, so do you have another story you're gonna have or you're gonna have you've already planned? I mean, listen, when they roll out or they should, when they roll out something, you should be thinking about the collection. Like I'm mad the Mystique collection doesn't have the Declan Shalvey Civil War choosing sides stories that I think only me and Declan Shalvey would want that in that collection, right? I'm the only one
I'll follow.
championing them.
I'll follow you.
But
But
that's
you had to
coming
point it
up.
out to me because I forgot.
Exactly, exactly. But I remember
Yeah.
like when I first started, I said, wait a second. I remember because when that book came out, it was Mystique #1. However, there was like Nick Fury Jr. Like for the first like, 8 pages, I'm like, wait a second. There was a story because I even remember because Black Widow was in like the third or fourth issue of that. And it's like a silent story, almost silent, and it was like mainly a Black Widow story, but then Nick Fury was like hanging out in the back. So I feel like, oh, like if there should be, I really wish if the industry was better, that it could support like a Marvel universe through the eyes or just a Nick Fury agent of Shield, but have Nick Fury Jr. just navigate around the Marvel universe now. That would be my book and a half. Because I think that would be his perspective on it, almost like a Marvels. It would be like his perspective on like what, because that's what they kind of did in that book. And Maverick showed up, and it was just like real fun, super fun. But
Yeah.
you and I are disappointed in the way that they're handling these '90s things. Weapon X-Men came out, failed, kind of dead on arrival.
Yeah, it
Um,
was. You and I really were looking forward to that book, and it just didn't appease
yeah,
us in the way
and I'll get
we
to a book
thought.
later that which I think is going to actually, if it had this combination, or maybe this book will kind of answer it. So this doesn't make sense. This is just, and Cody
Are you
Ziegler is
familiar?
fine.
What else did Cody Ziegler do?
I feel like he does all these annuals and shit. Like I feel like his stuff's just. I feel like he's doing one of. Is he doing the Laura uh book?
All right, the Laura book's not bad.
I think he does Miles. I feel like he did a good run on Miles Morales.
All
Maybe
right,
doing it now.
and you know the artist?
It looks familiar. It's one of those Pepe Larraz people's.
It does look like a very Pepe Larraz cover. Like it
Yeah,
looks like definitely that style.
yeah. I don't know if you saw this
Um,
news. So this is the yeah. Anything else on the Wolverine Amber? And look at
to,
also
to
the
me,
fuck is this logo? Every
it's
week I'm so fucking mad at these logos. This logo
Wolverine
sucks.
and Deadpool both have their own logos. You couldn't have like
Just
put
S
them
them,
together somehow. There's something interesting about those logos that you could have done something with. You're right. The
or you
logos
could put
department at Marvel,
Deadpool and maybe put the O in there or something. I don't fucking know. You can like what is I don't know. Yeah, you can't put the
yeah.
S's on them.
You know what'd be funny? Is they should have called it Wolverine, Deadpool, and then in parentheses, plural. Like just because it's so ridiculous of a
That's a
concept, just put
funnier
plural.
right. That's a funnier. That would be a funnier miniseries title.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's just more of the same. Like we have a Deadpool book, we have a Wolverine book, we have a Deadpool Wolverine book.
Yeah,
They tried we have all this stuff
Weapon X-Men, which is just Wolverine and Deadpool bickering at each other on a mission,
and
which
not
was
enough cable, not enough cable in any of this stuff. And like I was really excited about the idea of Joe Casey writing Cable again. Joe Casey writing Wolverine and Deadpool, boring. Joe Casey
mm,
writing Cable, yes. Joe Casey writing Thunderbolt, yes. Joe Casey writing Chamber. I don't really care about Chamber, but like he
he
likes
says he
Chamber.
loves Chamber, but I haven't
So
seen
that's
him like issue the love yet. Like I haven't. He
that's
hasn't done anything.
yes. Yeah.
Just because
So
he's
it's
in it
and you know
doesn't mean
what?
he's doing anything.
Right. My hope was like, well, if he loves a character, he's got to bring something to the table. But we didn't get it. And
Look,
again,
I feel that I feel like Tom Brevoort's entire thing with X-Men is like, can you have them in like a kitchen or maybe just on a spaceship? Like they don't do anything. They just sit around and talk. Every issue
I
of everything,
I
there's
wrote
three to four pages of a kitchen. They're
when I
just
was
hanging out
doing
in the
the
kitchen.
when I was doing the Youngblood fanzine, the Awesome Army, Awesome Comics had a fanzine I was part of called the Awesome Outpost. Um, and I started one issue in a kitchen, and I'm like, I can never do this again. And that was like 1999. It was like 2000.
It works when
Uh,
Claremont did it in like after like a crazy fucking event.
yes,
You
it's the
know,
shawarma scene. It's like, hey, we just did all this.
we need a
Let's
rest.
decompress. Let's rest.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this, what we did right, what we did wrong, or let's just not talk about it. Let's talk about a sandwich. Let's talk about anything. So, but yeah, Tom Brevoort is just a failure. And I like Brevoort fine. Like I don't have any problems with him. It's just when they announced him on X-Men, I'm like, this isn't going to work. It's just I knew it from launch it wasn't going to work.
Yeah, but
He's
you flip
not.
them, and then you have Jordan White on fucking like, and he's defending the Mary Jane as Venom story. Like he's on interviews, like he's the like mastermind. Him and Al Ewing. I'm like, wow, what a great mastermind. So stupid,
You
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 know.
did something out of character for two characters.
You have
Ooh.
5 issues before reveal. Way to
Cool,
go.
cool,
That's
cool.
real fun.
Yeah. What is this? Shadowhawk?
Yeah. So this is kind of funny, but this is confusing. So they're putting this out, and I may have read this wrong. Like
Okay.
there's another article. Oh no. Okay. All right. No, okay, this is just a one shot. Okay, that's fine. All right, because I felt like when I saw a different thing about this, it said that they were going to do a hardcover of this. So this was a story, if you remember a couple years ago, there was a project. I don't know if it was through Tashin or someone. Someone was doing like an archive edition of some of the Claremont Burn stuff, and it was called the Marvel Made Paragon Collection, Chris Claremont.
Yes, I remember that.
And
And it
then
had
there
an
was
exclusive story.
yeah, this is
Yes,
it.
by him and Sal. Okay.
So it's
This is
coming
that
out.
story. Okay.
It's coming out.
Um, Listen, Chris Claremont is the only person who should play around with Days of Future Past because it's his creation. It's him and John Byrne's creation.
Yeah.
So Jim Lee added to it by putting Bishop there. And I'm like, okay, he didn't mess with it. Bishop maybe I don't know if the Bishop storyline happened before or after the Wolverine story.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm okay with Claremont like doing this. I'm very curious to see how I'm curious to read the story.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
you
and
know,
this story's 5 years old. Like it's a while ago that was announced.
yeah.
So yeah, so we'll see. But when I felt when I read this, it was saying something that the one shot, yeah, okay. There's going to be a one shot, but I feel like they were going to do another trade of this, which it was going to be this plus Days of Future Past are doing a different bookshelf of that reprint. And I'm like, ugh, like how many times? Again, that was always a frustrating reprint because I think I had the reprint that Butch Geist did the cover of, and it didn't have the covers. It didn't have the covers of the Days of Future
Ugh.
Past, so it was like yucky. You know what I mean?
That's a great collection, except for it doesn't have the covers.
Yeah.
I had that book as well.
Yeah, yeah. So a prestige format. So this eBay this week blew up because they announced the Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and then they cast what's her name? They cast Sadie Sink, and she has red hair. So what are you going to do? Everyone's going to lose their mind that that's Mary Jane, and maybe it is.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe it is.
maybe it is.
Somebody said they were casting an Asian man between 30 and 50. So that goes right to Mr. Negative, as everyone thought. So I'm like, really? You gotta do Brand New Day with Mr. Negative?
The Brand New
Like,
Day, Mr. Negative.
like the
Boring.
whole world wants Sydney Sweeney, Black Cat, and the whole world wants that guy from Better Call Saul to be Scorpion again.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep.
He's such a good actor. Like his Scorpion was so mean looking, like that. You just imagine that would have been
Sydney
great.
Sweetie's Julia Carpenter though, Rob. You can't do that
I don't
in the
know. La
Sony
la la
verse.
la la la
In the
la la.
Sony verse. So we'll see. I mean, listen, I really like the and I guess if I get it's a bummer like that. I understand actors have to work, and of course if you get a call, you get a job, but like I really feel bad about like Simu Liu puts out Shang-Chi, made a lot of money, made a lot of money worldwide. Shang-Chi
Yeah,
2, they're gonna put his sister on like a Disney Plus show, I guess. And then it never happened. That didn't surface, that plot line went nowhere.
right.
Still no Shang-Chi 2. That was like 3 years ago. And now
Mhm.
they're like, hey, can you come to Doomsday? He's like, sure. What's he going to say? Of course he's going to say sure. He's not in that many movies, right? Unfortunately.
Right.
But Simu Liu just says yes. This guy directed Shang-Chi, which I think did a great job. I think Shang-Chi is very, very
I
good.
think you're right.
So he gets moved over here.
Shang-Chi is like two-thirds incredible
Mhm.
and one-third pretty good.
Right.
Like the Pokemon stuff at the end, I like it, but it's not as good as the first
The
two-thirds.
Pokemon stuff. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it
It's still
does
good,
technically. Yeah, I don't
but
know. It's. I would have rather them just fight like when they fought on the like I guess working casino floor when they went up to a couple floors and it's just like them fighting and then they fall out of the building and they're sliding down the thing. I just thought it was crazy. Like it was very well choreographed. That's the
yeah,
biggest thing, and that's what I want. It and through the moving bus, which they actually had a bus,
beautiful.
like
That was
they were
really fun.
moving, they had a bus on like stands and green screen, but they're fighting in a bus. And that's got Zach Cherry in it. Zach Cherry playing potentially the same character
We love Zach
as
Cherry, man.
Spider-Man, you know, because he was in, he says do a flip, right? Doesn't it? So he's in like one or two of the Spider-Man do a flip. So it could be the same
That's
guy.
right.
I also love
And
when he's saying he's like, hey,
he's the same guy in Crashing too. He's just the same
yeah, right, right,
character.
right, right. Oh,
He's
that's
like, I'll be
funny.
your manager. Like, right? Crashing that was him, right?
I think that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Um, and then this was announced, or actually, I think maybe I cut it off. Oh no, here
Okay.
it is. And I'll go back to that screen in a second.
Yeah,
So this was
please do.
announced, and then I know that Brian, one of our friends, Brian, put it in the group chat, and I made a very I'm going to repeat the ill joke that I made. However, when they were making the last Spider-Verse movie, they said the story's too big, we're going to make it in two. Now,
Right.
our brain said, okay, then they're going to record a little extra and they're going to break this movie into two 1.5 hour movies. They
Hmm.
did not do that. And during the press tour, one of either it was the guy who plays Miles or Haley Steinfeld, they said, oh, we haven't recorded the next one. I think Brian even said that. He's like, do you know that
What?
she said in an interview they never record the third one? And you're like,
Well,
what?
while they're talking about that, when they broke it into two, they gave us dates six
Yeah,
months apart.
right.
And this movie, I mean, the original sequel, even though they gave us one date, ended up coming out 6 months later than it was supposed to.
Hmm.
So we just assumed the next one would still be 6 months later. And then it
Right.
became a year later. And then it became, yeah, we haven't voice recorded anything yet. What? That's the first
Yeah.
thing you do.
Well, this also, I don't understand the moving of the directors. I can't really say too much about it because I don't like it when the directors change, right? It was Phil Lord, Chris Morrow in the first one, right? So is
Right.
the second one going to be a little bit less? It is in some areas, but not really. It didn't really, and but they're also switching out another one. So now they have two directors here. And I'm like, well, because the guy who directed this last one was the guy who directed Soul or co-directed Soul. So it was still Lord Miller, this guy, Rob. There was a bunch of people, and Ryan Del
Right.
Carmen too. So it was like you have a bunch of people working on it. So, but what I didn't like about that last movie is that as the movie was coming out, you just heard story after story about them not paying the animators,
Right.
working
Because
them
they
to
kept,
fucking death, you
yeah,
know?
because they kept changing stuff and they don't like to pay for changes. It's like, well, you have to. It's more work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
We
didn't
don't like to see
like
anyone getting
that the
abused.
first sequence that you saw in the movie theater, by the time it was on digital, was different. It was the drums, and they literally took panels from Robbie Rodriguez's panels, and also like the Jason Latour run, and you put the panels directly in. Don't do that because you're not going to give those guys money. You're not giving Tom
Yeah.
Lyle money when you take Tom Lyle like sketches. Basically, you take Tom Lyle art and you pretty much slightly animate it. Like it's
Right. Right.
I don't know. All this stuff's my blood pressure is very, very high. I don't know.
It's
I'm
so
wearing all
crazy
Marvel stuff.
because
I'm just like
this movie's
I'm
not
so mad
coming
at
out.
Marvel.
This movie's not coming out for more than 2 years.
Mhm.
2 years still to make this movie. And when did the last one come out? 3 years ago? Was that what we said? It was going to be 5 years
I
between
think
movies.
I think 2 years ago. Yeah, it was 2023 summer.
Was it 2023?
I think so. Yeah, wasn't last summer.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely wasn't last summer. I was thinking it's even the summer before that, to be
Possibly. Yeah.
honest. Um, that sucks. And in the meanwhile, they've conceived, wrote, filmed, and are doing post-production on a Spider-Man noir TV show.
Right.
In between sequels, they filmed a live action TV show.
Right. Yeah.
That shouldn't be. You shouldn't have
Right.
been able to do that. Like,
Right. Well, technically, I mean, listen, and we'll see the level of quality of that. We don't know yet. So
we don't know.
hopefully good.
No, we don't know.
Hopefully good. So we'll see. We'll see. I did grab this because this is pretty funny. So this is Stephen Butler, and he had this in like a cool story, and it was somewhat animated and stuff. Was everything was moving a little bit, which I thought was pretty cool. Stephen
Is it
Butler, McFarlane.
3D-ish? Yeah, 3D-ish. I'll have to get out my glasses.
It's just, yeah, I think it's the one filter it has like it'll wave it back and forth. So, but it probably could be.
All right.
But yeah,
Send that to
pretty
me.
cool. Yeah, really really fun. This I guess I think I took a screenshot. But did
So,
you see they're doing a new Anaconda? But it's like the two people I want to see. I don't want to see for a little while. I feel like I'm Paul Rudded out. I'm Jack Blacked out, and they're
oh,
doing
it's
a
it's gonna
comedy
be them two in
sequel.
it.
Yeah,
Maybe they don't want none unless you got buns on.
I just don't. I don't know. I don't want. I'm tired of that. I feel like the Death of Unicorn looks really terrible, and I can't wait for the promotional tour to be over because I just feel like my feeds are just full up. And I thought he was passable on the most recent season of. Was he on last season of Only Murders?
Yeah, yeah, he's playing
He was
a
the guy. He's
stunt dude,
playing. Yeah, but
playing
I
a
just
different character.
right. But I felt like when he showed up again, I'm like, I don't want this. I don't want him again. I'm all right. I feel like I'm Paul. I'm out. I'm out for
I
a
think
little
you're.
bit. Um,
My daughter, my younger daughter, went and saw Minecraft
oh, I was going to ask you.
Friday
Yeah.
night. She she's like, it's okay. Like it doesn't follow the game at all, which she knew.
Mhm.
She goes, but Jack Black's kind of funny because they just like Jack Black. They're not Jack Blacked out.
Right.
Um, so like she goes, yeah, it's kind of cringy, but like not horrible. I'm like, all right, that's a
There's
good.
a couple Easter eggs in it that they have that I saw some crowd reactions for, and it looked.
She
I really wish
she
I
goes,
was in
yeah,
the theater with that.
there's parts of it she really liked, and there's parts of it
Yeah.
that are cringe. So it's kind of
Hey,
interesting. And
made a
she goes,
buck 25.
she's like, and I laughed out loud a couple times, and I don't usually laugh out loud.
Right.
Like yeah,
A literal LOL.
that's right, a literal,
Yeah,
an LL, an LLOL.
they have the Crossy Road. One of the ducks shows up at one point, and that I saw that crowd reaction. That was like crazy. And then there's somebody at the end. I think is a different character in there where you don't see her face, but she's talking to Steve, and that was a big reaction too. So again, not spoiling it unless you know what the heck I'm talking about.
I
I don't
don't,
really know what I'm
I
talking
don't.
about. So
I
even
know what
better.
Crossy Duck is, and I do know that,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's
So
cool.
that's fun. So I saw that scene. It was like people were screaming. People were like losing their minds. So listen, well, we're all about fandom. We're all about people being happy about it. Fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I also know that in CinemaCon they're doing a Five Nights at Freddy 2, and I've never saw. So Gracia, my daughter, was so upset with the first one. She's like, it didn't follow this and that. She was so mad. And I was like, oh man, it's like me coming out of Rogue One, all pissed off. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was like, oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it how mad you
My
are. So
daughters,
fun.
I took both my daughters to that and a friend each, and they both loved the movie, but definitely pointed out all the lore that it did not follow.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird that like things are going backwards. Like the lore is kind of what sells it. There was a honest trailers of the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, and they talk about they reboot it every 2 years, and none has been as faithful as that movie, or better than that movie. That's true. Also, Mutant Mayhem's
Right.
getting a sequel too. They showed some stuff from that at CinemaCon.
That's good because
Yeah,
I need a kick in the butt to watch the cartoon.
yeah, I still haven't watched it. I have it. I haven't watched it. I know it's on Paramount Plus. Um, this is
Oh
I
yeah,
keep
we're doing a show. I just
yeah.
totally forgot we're doing a show. We're just like
We're
having our normal
we're
phone
doing our show. This
conversation.
is kind of what we do. That's okay. Spy Way Back. Update on the Kickstarter for this. I want to say it's like a buck 25 though. This was maybe 75. I don't know. Oh yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
DC Art of Jorge Jimenez,
we
Clover.
did we did talk about this, right? Because
We
Hank
did, but
Canals is heading this up, right?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
that's
but
nice.
here's these are postcards these are new postcard pinups that he
God,
posted.
you can almost
Oh, there we go.
tell he
I don't know
like
why these are out of order. There was the CinemaCon. I think that's the director. And then they don't have anything filmed, so they literally just filmed them goofing around. Also annoying. If you have nothing
yes.
for it, don't show me something where you're not still doing the movie. You're not making the
Hey,
movie.
you know what? Something that annoys me when the actor comes out and introduces a trailer. Like
Right.
for some reason, it's like looks like desperation.
I really want the Tom Cruise. Apparently there's a Tom Cruise clip. I don't know if he was there or not, but he had everyone do a moment of silence for Val Kilmer. And he also
Oh, that's
did
cool.
like a 2 minute thing about how Christopher McQuarrie apparently was on the Brad Bird, which I think is kind of bad. He talks about him being on the Brad Bird set and how the script was bad. And I'm pretty sure Brad Bird wrote that. I'm pretty sure they had to credit him. But Chris McQuarrie kept showing up because like Tom called him because I guess he wrote. Did he write the first one? I forget what he wrote. I don't know how he knew Christopher McQuarrie. I'm not really exactly sure because I don't think he directed. I think he directed the one after that, and then kind of just has been on it since. But
Yeah, but the
apparently,
Brad
like
Bird one's good. Ghost
But
Protocol, right?
yeah, but the Brad Bird one apparently is only good because Chris McQuarrie would rewrite the stuff every day
Oh
and then they
wow.
would shoot it. So like apparently there were problems with that, and he talks about that because they gave Chris McQuarrie some bullshit like cinema award. You get like you're the guy of cinema. Then they show a pretty good trailer, apparently a good trailer of that. But yeah, I want to see the Tom Cruise one. It's supposed to be very pro. But yeah, I think he was there. But yeah, I hate this. So this is literally them talking about the movie that they're not shooting, and they're in some bungalow or some shit. I don't know. Looks very sweaty. Anyway,
Well,
stupid.
that's
But here's spiraling back. So here's sorry, things are out of order. But yeah, these were all really good and they're all kind of the same. And there was also a poster that he had in there too, but everything's an add-on. So you have to buy the main. He has a Superman and Lois poster across the moon, which is similar, which is a um it's a Jose Garcia Lopez homage slightly, but you can't buy it by itself. You have to buy it if you buy the thing, then you can buy the poster, and the poster's $50. It's like a lot of stuff. So here's
you know,
Punchline.
it's funny that when you showed the Superman
Look at
one,
how
I like
good,
all these
man.
postcards.
Yeah,
It definitely had like a Dan Mora feel to it.
it does. Yeah, it does. So but see, this is what I would want. And it's funny, that's like an Apple, that's actually like an Apple Photoshop in. That's an Apple keyboard. That's an iMac keyboard. That's pretty funny. But this is what I want. If you have to have her standing up and have her with Nightwing, okay. I got the glasses.
What's up with
Hot.
the green?
I don't know. They're just doing it. I don't know. I don't know if it's just the way. I know what you're saying. I don't know if it's just the way that he's coloring it. Yeah. It's a maybe he wants him to have that color. Doesn't want
All right.
Nightwing in. Hey, listen, do whatever you want. But the colors on this are great. And I want to say it's probably I don't know who it. Maybe it's all. I think it's Alejandro Sanchez. It's
What
his.
what do you want to see him draw?
I want to. I
You
I'm don't think
Like,
we got the what we deserved on the Batman that he was doing with Tinian. Tinian left. I feel like we were getting somewhere because Tinian's ideas fell in line with him and said, "Hey, can you draw like crazy Akira shit?
yeah,
Can you draw like these crazy? Here's like a biker gang guy. Here's a guy like here's was it Clown Hunter? Like you had like concepts. Punchline's a good concept.
like I see these and I'm like, oh man, I'd love to see more Superman. And then I think to myself, he probably draw a really good Flash. And then I'm
Uh,
like, he probably draw a really cool Green Lantern. And I'm like, is he
well,
gonna? Is he? Should he do a good Justice League run? Like
well, he did
if
a Justice League run. He did Sam Scott Snyder's,
yeah,
but
but
it
it wasn't.
wasn't this Jimenez. I know what you're saying. It was more
Yeah.
of like the like Fabok. He was. It's so weird. It's so Fabok kind of comes out right. So Fabok comes out from Finch, right? Finch is doing his Dark Knight
Yes.
book, hires
Fabok.
Fabok.
Uh-huh.
Finch like becomes his own. This guy comes out like a Fabok, not clone, but similar. Now he has his own style. Mora comes out similar to Jorge Jimenez,
Or
is moving his style a little forward. So it's neat. Yeah, it's interesting.
I don't
You
know.
know.
It's neat because when I first saw Fabok, he was doing a Jim Lee thing, and when I first saw Dan Mora, he was doing a Francis Manapul thing.
Mhm. Right.
So it's neat. We love to see artists continue to grow and change and figure out what they want to do. And I kind of would like to see a new Jimenez take on Justice League if it's written by someone who could really like. Even though I love Justice League Unlimited, Wade and Mora,
Mhm.
like a different Justice League book. I want that Grant Morrison feel, that big feel, that
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's
You know
yeah.
what it is? A Jeff Loeb feel. Jeff Loeb can write for artists like nobody else can.
Right.
I don't
Right.
know. I don't know if that's in the pictures at all, but it's like you could see that because
Yeah,
Jeff Loeb never
I
really
like
wrote
those.
Justice League, right?
No. Mm.
Hmm.
He didn't write an event. There's no event.
Uh, War,
Our world's at war.
Our World's at War was his
That's more
event,
of a
which is
Superman event. It's more of it felt more contained. It wasn't it didn't seem as universe wide. There was some one shots and things, but I don't felt like
yeah.
it
You got a
was
Wonder Woman special where Golden Age. I think Hippolyta died. You got Justice Society, which was a great Jeff Johns one shot. That was really good. We got all them awesome Jay Lee covers, I think.
hmm
Yeah, I
Yeah,
liked our Worlds at War.
I got one of them recently because it has a ton of artists in it. McGinnis at the end. McGinnis is
Yeah.
kind of capping his run at the end there. I think they fire. I think he gets fired. So yeah.
Or no,
Um,
he leaves to go do Superman Batman.
yeah, no, I meant that I think at the end of that story, I feel that they fire. I think Clark gets fired.
Oh,
I
Clark
think
gets
Perry
fired.
fights. Yeah, I think
All
he
right.
gets fired. Doesn't get fired. Yeah. There was a weird announcement where they talk about the Godzilla minus one team who did Godzilla minus one. They named some project that they're doing, but I wonder if it's a secret Godzilla project. I'm not sure. I forget.
What do you
It
call
was
the sequel?
they didn't call it anything. It was called something project. It was like it was a G something project, but they said it's not a Godzilla sequel, but
The
they talked
the
around it.
G the G Spot
So
project.
I feel like it is. It's the same team, award-winning team, and they're working on this. But I felt like as soon as this came out, they were working on some type of sequel. So I feel that could be a secret sequel. I don't know.
But
Maybe
what do
I'm
you
wrong.
call it? You can't call it -2 because that would mean it's in the past further.
Mine is 0.5.
-0,
Um,
-1/2. Yeah.
so here's something I don't want at all. Number one, I don't want any. There's enough archive footage. I don't want a Beatles biopic, and I don't want four of them. Fucking Sam Mendes comes out, these fuckers, right? And listen, I don't have anything against any of these actors. I'm not even sure who's who. Wait, I think did I put who's
Yeah.
who?
Yeah.
Okay. So Paul Mescal, Paul McCartney, Harris Dickinson, John Lennon, Joe Quinn, Harrison, Barry Keoghan, Ringo Starr. Let's go back. Okay. So Paul, Ringo, George, John.
Right.
No, no. I'm just gonna say no.
The problem is, I
Because
always feel like what? Go on.
they're each getting their own movie. So he's making four movies and he's calling it a bingeable experience. It's Sam Mendes, right? Sam Mendes, American Beauty,
Yes.
uh, I don't know, the real sad
James
one,
James Bond.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
don't. He's done more bad than good at this point. His stuff went up and then went down. He did like the reuniting Revolutionary Road, I think it's called, of Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. And it's a depressing 1950s drama where
Yes.
she sleeps with David Harbour, right? So she sleeps with David Harbour, and then I think he's sleeping around too, and it's just sad. It's just a sad fucking movie. Rough. And it was such a disappointment because everyone was like, and I think he married Kate Winslet after that. I feel like he marries the co-star. I forget who he married Rachel Weisz. He directed her in something, married her. That's what he does. It's his gig. So anyway, Sam Mendes is annoying. He's made
He's
more
gonna
more
marry
bad
what?
than
Barry Keegan?
he's gonna marry Barry Keegan. Barry Keegan's free now. He broke up with or Sabrina broke up with him. Either way. So anyway, I don't know. I don't know. I
I
don't know.
think I think it's fun. I think people love this shit.
I don't
People
know if you
love
have I don't think you have an hour and a half of Ringo. I don't think you have an hour and a half. I don't think there's enough story. There's enough stories probably at John because they were together since they were like 15 of John and Paul. So
listen,
and
it's
then
there's more story than a movie about all four. But is there enough story? Is this a Hobbit situation? I don't know. There's
you're gonna
enough
put these out
there.
the same day. Like seriously, how are you gonna do this?
Wait a minute,
How
what'd you
what
say?
they're gonna put these out the same day. They're putting
Are you
out four
serious?
movies. Yeah, they're supposed to put them out the same day. Four
What's it for?
movies, same day.
Is this movie theater or is this
No, this
streaming?
is movie theater. This is supposed to be movie theater. The Beatles biopics, they're all going to be the names. I'm not sure what they're going to call it, if it's Beatles colon John, Beatles colon Paul. I just think this is a nightmare. I think
Hmm.
this is a nightmare concept.
Is it going to be a building up to the Beatles, or is it going to be
There's no
half the
Beatles.
movie?
No.
No, what I'm saying. So there's no like Avengers, like here they are together as
Here's
the
here's the
Beatles.
the Beatles cinematic universe. This is the Beatles
Right.
cinematic universe. This is their you could make and listen, I feel like someone could be George. I don't think Joseph Quinn's George at all. Like George has a very complex story, okay? And there's a lot
Yeah,
of
he does.
interviews lately of George's story of that Paul wishes that he was in the room at certain times. Again, the problem with their studio time is that John was always late, like hours and hours and hours late. If you watch the Get Back documentary, which you need to watch, there's a time where it's just Ringo's always on time. Ringo's kind of the glue, which you don't realize until you watch that documentary. He's kind of putting everyone back together,
That's
which
hilarious.
is really cool actually. So, but Ringo's pretty amazing, but George is frustrated, and George quits during the thing. He quits, and at one point he was telling Ringo maybe an episode before or two. He says, "I have a ton of songs. I don't get that many songs. I get two songs an album. That's it. Second song, second side usually, or the second side, first song. It's like that's it. Here comes the sun. Like I can name a bunch of George songs which are also number ones. And when I was a kid, I couldn't tell that was George. Well, I
No,
couldn't. I thought the Beatles was one dude singing. That was Paul. Paul's clearly was always kind of the front man in a way with the way
it's
he.
a shame that the Beatles couldn't, and I think this is the way Nirvana was heading. It's a shame they couldn't break off, do solo, and
Mhm.
then come back. Like I
Right.
have the same hopes for like System of a Down. Like they broke apart. They're all best friends. These guys, they all went to the same like Armenian school together.
Hmm.
So they're great friends, but they just can't put an album out. They'll tour together. Like you guys are
Yeah.
touring, but you can't put out an album.
Right.
And like their solo albums are good. But when they during the pandemic they came back together and did two songs, and I'm like, oh my God, they're so good.
Hmm.
It just kills me there's not a full new album. And I wish that would have happened with the Beatles. Like they could have went off, did their own thing, and then figure out a way to come back. If they're all just song generating machines. They're all incredible poets and lyricists, and they all have all the skills.
Right.
They all can play multiple instruments. Like it's just a shame, like in that alternate reality of like, hey, let's get back together.
Yeah, that would have been interesting to see. But again, the only reason, George has an interesting story because he got everyone into drugs and Indian culture and playing sitar and like he got everyone into
Yeah,
that, but
yeah.
that influenced the Beatles backwards. Like it went backwards. But I saw an interview with George recently because just on my Instagram feeds or whatever, and he was saying something and it was after John died, and he says, John was really mad at you because in your autobiography you didn't say how much you adored him, and he was like, well, that's a little funny. He's like, yeah, he was older than me. I did idolize him. He's like, but he really likes to say uh that he had a line or two in Taxman. He's like, well, I had a couple lines and come together. And I feel like this is a very like Kirby, Stanley type of thing, where everyone's mad about who did what, right? A little
Yeah.
bit, but I also feel that same way about like the way Yoko is. So Yoko, Paul, after John died, they were going to put some box set out and called Yoko and said, hey, on, was it yesterday? I think yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. He says, "Can I have it flipped?" It was always Lennon McCartney. They owned it, but they agreed that it was always going to be titled like that, Lennon McCartney. He says, "Can I just have this flipped?" Because he really didn't have anything to do with yesterday, from what I understand. And she said no. So it's real weird. It's all petty. It's all weird shit. But
Yeah.
George had a tough time, I think, because he never, and you could see it on the Get Back. It's sad. Like, and you see him just quit. He's like, I think I'm done. And he just grabs his guitar and like leaves. And then they have discussions in the break room, and there's a microphone in the break room, which I think is pretty fun. And it was in like a plant, and they didn't know about it. And it's them talking about, oh, we'll just bring Eric in. We're gonna bring Eric Clapton in, and he'll just be the studio musician. Now, ironically, after that happened, when George toured with his My Sweet Lord tour, he has Ringo on drums and Clapton was on guitar. So for like 4 years after, Clapton was in like a faux Beatles band, and
Right,
Ringo
right.
was just with him. And then Ringo just played on John stuff all the time. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of crazy the way things move around. Actually, the Stones' first song, which is like what I Want to Be Your Man, is a Ringo pen song that the Beatles didn't really like that they gave to them. It's still recorded, I think, in one of their early stuff, but they kind of knew them in town, but they weren't known for their writing. And they're just like, hey, you want to take this song? We don't care.
That's funny.
It's like
That's funny.
their biggest hit. But there
All
were
right.
never rivalry there. Anyway, spiraling
Let's get
back.
back
I
spiraling
don't want
back.
this. There's enough stories, enough documentaries. I don't want any. I'm good.
No, what this mark is an
I'll go
entry
see
level
this
for
the day it comes
no,
out, though,
this is
to
yeah.
be fair.
What this is the show that my daughters will watch. My daughter will watch these movies. My wife will watch these movies. Um, and my daughter's already into the Beatles, so that's fine. But a good biopic will get them into wanting to watch the documentaries.
Mhm.
Biopics, and it's always better to watch the biopic first because the documentaries are always better.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I feel like I know too much about it, clearly, and I'm just going to be mad the whole time, which I also liked as well. I like being mad all the time. I think that's fun. I like getting frustrated. I think
are
it's
we
funny.
going to get the scene where someone's like drop something and it goes, wait a minute, drop that again,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they create a
Well,
song out of it,
yeah, but
or
see,
or
that's,
somebody.
yeah. But here's the thing. So you're referencing the Queen,
Yes, yeah,
the
the
convenient Queen documentary, the Bohemian Rhapsody,
yeah,
which what's weird about that is that they used what they did, and I think this is smart because it emotionally carried me throughout the movie. Okay, is they took not they took soundboards of not what you know, but like probably slightly alternate takes of everything. So it's still Freddie. It's still everyone. It's still everyone.
right,
So, but it's written by. We didn't get the Sacha Baron Cohen Freddie Mercury movie, unfortunately, which would have been,
right.
there's actually a really good story on Stern. You can look that interview up when he's on Stern and talks about the script. And then he has a meeting when he didn't say it was Brian May. He didn't say it was from, and they said, well, then we're going to have this story and we're going to talk about what we're doing now. And they're like, no, I don't care what you're doing now. He's like, that's not what we're doing. Freddie dies, band's over. That's it. Don't care what you're doing now. Don't care with what you're doing, Adam. I don't care. We're not putting Adam Lambert in this movie. Like he just kind of straight up says, he's like, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. There's no such thing as Queen Post. So, but yeah, that movie's very, very, but I kind of give it a pass because of that, of carrying that in. Whereas when I watch Rocket Man, I'm not as attached, even though technically,
Yeah.
probably that is probably a better movie constructed wise, probably a better movie because the singing is happening right there. The transitions are really good. I think Rocket Man's very, very good. But for something, maybe just because it's not Elton soundboards, I'm not totally in that movie. I'm not totally in that movie. What are you gonna do here? What are you gonna do here? Listen,
What are you going to do here?
like the reason why the
You you
Wicked
you can't
movie
sound like the
works,
Beatles.
right? But the reason why the Wicked movie works is because they recorded everything, realized it didn't really feel correct, so they filmed it and then they sung and they kind of did a melding of the two. So you can do that now. Like you can do that now. Like, whereas I feel like was the Les Miserables, the one where it's like everyone's in, with all the snot. I always call it like the snot cut because basically you're like up in Anne Hathaway's face and she's snotting all over,
Yeah, yeah.
really gross. But they sung on set. You got and I know everyone gives like Russell Crowe crap about that, but
No
he's kind
way.
of
I
awesome in
don't.
that. I love
He's
him in
great.
that. But everyone
Yo,
just like
his
labeled him
band
bad.
his band is not bad. Like you ever listen to I listened to our album. It's a 40 foot of grunt or something like that.
Yeah, 40 odd foot of grunts or
40
something
odd foot
like
of yeah.
that.
I'm like, this isn't bad. I don't know why people like mock him.
I love his reaction to being made fun of on South Park because they asked him about it. He's like, "Oh, I like that. That's funny. I agree." Like he agrees with
Oh yeah, oh
the
yeah.
portrayal of it.
He's going around like Popeye, like beating people up.
Yeah, it's fighting around the world. Russell Crowe fighting around the world, and he's fighting like this. Like it's
Who
so funny.
I think Conan did a bunch of riffs on like the way he sings in the beginning of that movie when it's like Prisoner 409. Like I
Yeah,
forget what Conan did, but it was just like a really good parody of it. It was funny.
yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this. I don't know. I don't know about
We'll
this.
see.
But I've
We
yet
shall
to
see.
see. You saw Gladiator too, yeah? You saw.
No, I didn't. I
Oh,
didn't.
okay. I like Paul Mescal in his sad. He was really good on Saturday Night Live, but I
He
like
was
in the
good.
beginning where they show his movies and he's sad in every one of his movies.
Yeah,
Like All of Us Strangers is really difficult, and also I never finished the one where he's like a dad. He's like a sad dad, and I didn't finish it. I was too upset. I was too like depressed. I'm like, because all these things are out of his control in certain ways, and then he's like, "What am I gonna do?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, I felt that way so many times. I'm out. I can't
yeah.
do it. Can't do it." Paul Mescal. So we'll see. What else I got here? Yeah. So here we go. Right. As I was saying, each of the four movies will focus on one of the members of the Fab Four. April
All right.
2028. Why is this taking this long?
Because it's
What are
four
you talking
movies.
about?
But how much of the movies are the same? Like, do they all end with the same performance? With each of them getting to that point? I don't know.
I don't know.
There's
Sony,
whatever.
another
Let's move on.
Sony, another Sony. But okay, so this again. Some of these for whatever reason the screenshots are out of order. But
It's fine.
so that's good, man. Listen, 250,000 for Dice Arta Jimenez. It's just funny to me that that's not that just wouldn't be a regular book. Uh, oh,
Oh yeah.
sad news. Val Kilmer passed. Just said that I know that Tom Cruise had a moment of silence in there. Um, I heard some stories about him this week, which I don't know how much of them are true, but like the Schumacher stuff, where he didn't talk to Schumacher for 2 weeks during the filming or something. I don't know if it was as bad as was it Wesley Snipes was writing post-its and having
Oh
communicate
yeah.
with
Right.
David Goyer, like that was supposed to be pretty bad. So I don't know how much of that's true, but I know a lot of articles came popped up this week is like I never saw that. Was it The Shadow in the Dark? What's the movie he's in Africa where he's shooting? He's they're trying to find the Shadow in the Darkness or something like that with
I don't think I don't.
Michael Michael Douglas. I
I didn't
forget
see
what it's
that
called.
one.
I think I saw it, and you never see the monster or whatever, and they're like it's a masterpiece, and I'm like I don't know. I wanted to see like what they're going to go after. It's supposed to be like this
What?
big
Want to hear something
bear or
horrifying?
something.
I've never seen True Romance.
Oh,
And Walt and I always talk about him. Like that's the one Tarantino film that I've never seen, and I just keep not seeing it. Like,
yeah, well, it's funny. Like, I think when Preacher came out, I think it was either Ron Hoffman or myself. We didn't like Preacher because Preacher, in the mirror, he would talk to John Wayne, which and that is somewhat lifted because Clarence in True Romance, which was Christian Slater's character, would talk to Elvis, and Val Kilmer was Elvis, and you never saw him. He was blocked the same way Steve Dillon blocked him.
oh, that's
And
funny.
Garth Ennis never said he lifted it, but it's pretty lifted. It was yeah. True Romance is really fun. Actually, I think Tarantino doesn't like True Romance also because
No,
Tony Scott rewrote some stuff.
he likes True Romance. From what I read the one time was he likes True Romance. It's the only movie that he wrote that didn't direct that he considers in the Tarantino universe.
Okay,
What he doesn't like, and you know this already, is he doesn't like Natural Born Killers,
he hates
and
Natural Born Killers. Yeah,
he almost wants to like refilm it.
that should be his last movie. That would actually be kind of interesting. You know,
Yeah,
there's a lot of Natural Born Killers stuff popping up because I feel like different uh, reality situations are happening that were talked about like this weird dystopian future that we're now currently living in. So I've seen some
yeah.
clips of Woody Harrelson like talking in the desert about some stuff. So, but Joel Schumacher later on when he was in an interview said that Val Kilmer is the best Batman. period. Also, the clip from him being Batman
Bob.
on, was it Extras with Ricky Gervais, when you have Warwick Davis is trying to pitch like a Willow 2,
Oh yeah.
and then you have like Val Kilmer show up with like a Batman mask on, and they're like, and he's like, who am I? And they're like, Adam West. They're like, no, too old, too old. And then they were like George Clooney, and he's like, no. And he comes out and he's like, so we're gonna make Willow 2, and it's like a really funny Val Kilmer scene, which I never saw. I never saw that. I never watched that. Was it Extras?
Yeah, it was extras. I've seen that scene, but I never watched the show. I want to
Yeah,
watch the show. I've seen Picard. Jon Stewart was on an episode. It was like really funny. I'm like, I gotta watch this. I'm such a fan of his, but like I keep not watching his shows because I just want to sit down and really get through them, but just haven't. Yeah, I'm a big Ricky Gervais fan. Just haven't watched most of his stuff.
there it is.
But
Look at
yeah, he
that.
was a good Batman. Bob
Pursed
Kane said he's the
lips.
best. He's the best Batman.
Well, we all love Bob Kane,
Bob Kane, Birdman.
Birdman. Let me see. Is that it? That might be all my. Oh no, I have a couple bits extra news. All right, let me
Some
get
wee
past
bits.
here. I got these all out of order. That's all right.
Man,
Yeah.
you're
Oh,
all about the Beatles.
so here's what we're doing. All right, here we
Okay.
go. There we go. So this is a new poster. Just saw this week. They had more CinemaCon footage, of which I won't tell you the spoilers. There's two things that I know,
I heard
unfortunately.
one and I'm like, son of a bitch, I didn't want to hear that. Like, why would you
Hmm.
put that in an article?
Yep.
And
We'll
then,
we'll
so I don't
talk
know.
about it
I've
off
heard,
air. We'll do it off air. What you heard. I won't confirm. I'll only confirm it. I'm gonna be really good. I know a bunch of spoiler stuff by accident, and I'll be really good with the Superman spoiler. And I will not spoil Superman for you.
good.
I will
No
not.
spoilers.
I won't. Twitter may get off Twitter. Um, this was the first photo, some Empire photos. Some of them I've already seen. I feel like I've seen. Well, we've seen a video of this on the side of like the
Yes.
archive footage.
He shrinks when
And
he becomes the thing.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know, man. No, I don't
It'll
know.
be fine. It'll
Yeah,
be fine.
yeah. And I thought I had some other stuff, but I guess I didn't. Guess I didn't. I did have. Well, we'll just talk about this. So, the Spider-Man Wolverine had like 4 pages that popped up, preview pages,
Right.
to put them up. But like, this is if we can have the '90s nostalgia of this. And I'm also not exactly sure how long this will be. I don't know if this is announced as an ongoing, a miniseries, or what. It's just going to kind of launch really well. It's Guggenheim, which I don't remember the last time he wrote comics. It's Guggenheim and Kara Andrews, but this is the stuff we want. We want this '90s stuff, please.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a nice traditional shield helicarrier, when it was like bulbous.
yeah, it's interesting storytelling though. You got this like little there's them. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of funny them jumping in and on something. I guess it's just hanging in a hangar or something. Maybe I don't know. Can't really tell.
Maybe.
But yeah, I just love the shape, all the shapes, the McFarlane. Again, we don't really have a lot of McFarlane clones. This isn't exactly doing that, but it's just a '90s combination style that Kara Andrews is doing. I didn't read Rain 2. Did you read finish that?
Yeah, I did. I liked it.
Hmm.
I liked it. There's some neat stuff in it. It gets a little wacky in the middle, but I dig it. I dig Car Andrews.
Yeah,
He was trying to when he was directing stuff, he was trying to direct the Master of the Universe movie, and I think he did a proof of concept footage, which looked pretty neat.
hmm.
Speaking of Master Universe, somebody showed a picture of it from the set, and it looks like it's just the bottom half of the Castle Grayskull drawbridge, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to.
Really. Yeah, I don't know what they showed. I know that. I don't know. I'm very nervous about that movie. Very,
It's
very
like the
nervous about that
last
movie.
great piece of nostalgia of ours that
That
we
they
haven't
can
got.
mess up.
Let's hope not. Like, listen, they're going hardcore. Pink, Adam's wearing pink. The sword looks perfect. Really good casting.
Yeah,
We still haven't heard confirmation on Merman and Beastman yet.
they better be
I,
in it.
I think there's a, I think
Is
there's
there
a
a
picture
Ram
of young
Man?
Adam. Yes, there's a Ram Man. So let's hope he looks good too. This is a
Fisto.
pretty thick Asian guy for Ram Man. I'm like, yeah, that checks.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Ram Man is a
Um,
dumb character. He's just like a stupid. He's so dumb in the show, though. Hopefully they don't
yeah,
do that. He's like really dumb. Like he's like maybe because he
like
just
yeah,
smashes his head all the time.
that's
Like
exactly it.
that's
I
the
think I think
whole
I think
arc.
he was actually Michael Straczynski's JMS's favorite character to write because JMS wrote on the He-Man show.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's all my news. That's all my
I don't,
news.
yeah, I don't think I have anything else. I saw Nathan Fillion is officially going to be in the Green Lantern show. I don't know if it's
Gonna
just, I don't know
save
how
the
much of a
show, you
part.
mean? They'll save the show.
He could lighten it up, that's for sure.
Listen, Rookie's on season 7. I don't care about it, but like I see clips here and there from it, and it looks pretty good. I don't think I'll watch 7 seasons of The Rookie.
Yo, what was this? What was the show before the Rookie or after the Rookie?
Castle.
Castle. How many seasons of that we get? I feel like we got
Oh,
seven of that.
I watch a lot of Castle. My grandma was in the hospital, and she would watch Castle all the time. And I
Yeah.
would guess what season we were on based on the girl's hair. The
Oh,
first
that's
couple,
funny.
the first couple, like the first couple seasons, it was real tight. Also, if they were together, they were together. I think after season 3, they were together. So I've seen probably almost every episode of Castle, just hanging out with my grandma, right? So, and it's just charming. It's just charming enough. He almost dies every other episode. Like
Right.
there's a lot of miscommunication. If he said she's, will they, won't they? It's moonlighting again. It's fine. You know, but listen, good on him. He must be good. Listen, when I see actors, like I think about this when I see Peter Krause. I feel like every show Peter Krause has ever been on, my daughter Sophia watches. She was watching 6 Feet Under, and I was watching every scene. I'm just like, oh, it's Peter Krause. There's they were all like just working actors. They've been in stuff like Michael C.
Yes.
Hall, right? Michael
Hmm.
C. Hall's Dexter, and he's in some other show. And like these guys have to be. I imagine Peter Krause must be the best worker because he has not been unemployed ever, ever. He was on like Sports Night to like 6 Feet Under, like 7 seasons, and then he was on nine. Now he's on 911 for like season 7, 8, 9. I don't know. He's always working. So, but I feel like Philly is the same way. He's never not worked, right? Like he's never not worked.
No, he's never not worked since Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. That's where I first saw him.
He was on that show with Ryan
Yeah,
Reynolds.
he's the one who ends up marrying a trailer, like on the show.
Oh, wow.
Neither one of the guys get with the girl, and the Pizza Place is also gone. Like I didn't actually watch that show until like the last season or two because it was on
I
after
watched when it
the.
came on.
No,
That's
I
funny.
didn't watch it because but once Norm, I didn't watch Drew Carey either. You know, what it was I was kind of anti-sitcom for a long time, but when Norm Macdonald got a show, I ended up watching that, and those two shows were on the same night. So I was like, all right, I
Okay.
just started watching them.
Yeah, because they dropped the pizza place, right? It was just two guys and a
Yeah,
girl.
two guys and a girl, and it's
Hmm.
funny, like she disappeared, I guess. Like
Yeah.
she was in the
She
one
in a
Jim
Sandler?
Carrey movie.
Oh, okay. I knew she was a girl in one of those, right? Because you figure
Yes,
that like an early Sandler or
me,
an
myself, and
early
Irene.
right. Okay.
So she does that, and she was in a Foo Fighters video. Oh, which is for me, myself, and Irene. Generator. So she disappears. The other guy, not Ryan Reynolds, he like does a little bit. He shows up on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia sometimes,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
he like disappeared.
I think he's a director now. I think he's a Fred Savage.
He might have actually directed some of Sunny. I think you're
Yeah, that makes
correct.
sense.
I,
Yeah.
um,
Fred
so
Savage,
the last season,
we can credit Fred Savage for like the way that Adam Scott acts. Adam Scott recently talked about like how like the way he had struggles acting, and he's like, you just do it like this, and then you'll feel better. Like he just the way he kind of so good because again, that season finale of Severance is probably pretty much going to give Adam Scott an Emmy. So
so the last season, like I said, Nathan Fillion comes in. He ends up getting with Trailer's character, and they all like him. And this other woman comes in. I think her name is Suzanne Cryer. She's a doctor, I think, who ends up Ryan Reynolds' character ends up with. And like she's done almost nothing else. And then she popped up on the second season moving forward of Silicon Valley.
okay.
They had this actor who was like kind of weird, kind of a weird Steve Jobs, autistic kind of thinking too much guy. But in real life, he died. He was one of the guys funding the other guys. So Suzanne Cryer took over his position, and she was weird in her own way.
Hmm.
But yeah, she's real. I don't know if she's related to John Cryer or not.
On the show, you
But
mean for Silicon Valley? You're saying the guy died? Did he die on the show? Wasn't there a guy that
no,
died on that? Or okay, or it was the
no,
character?
well, they killed the character because the
Okay,
guy died in real life.
that's right. Okay, that's what I thought.
He
Yeah,
he was like like a Steve Jobs type of Bill Gates, but
which
like
was like Spartacus too. Didn't they do it on Spartacus where the guy died and they had to like replace, which was real sad.
yeah, well, they Andy Whitfield died, and he was a really good Spartacus. He looked like who's the guy from Avatar?
Sam Worthington.
Sam Worthington. He looked like him, but he was like you liked him better. He was actually a slightly better actor than Sam Worthington. They look very similar.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, because
And
I
the guy
thought it
who run,
was when I saw previews for it. I was like, oh, okay, he's got a job. That's good.
yeah, that's fun. That's
Do
funny.
you
You even
think
thought
Sam
that.
Worthington can get enough? Does he have enough money from Avatar? You think?
I
Like
think he
he
got
didn't really
paid.
do a lot of stuff. Like he hasn't done a ton of stuff. You
Yeah,
know?
I think it was nobody when he got the Terminator job, and then I
Hmm.
think he probably got paid good for the Clash of the Titan movies.
Oh, right. Which I've
And
never
then
seen. Are they fun, goofy, or are they bad?
they're okay. Listen, man, nothing beats that original Clash of the Titans movies. Nothing's creepier than that Medusa, than
Yeah.
the devil guy, the
That just scared the
vultures,
shit
all
out of me.
that. It's
We should have a what scared the shit out of us episode where it's like Secret and Nim with when you were talking the owls earlier. I was thinking of that
yeah,
because that owl is the scariest fucking thing ever. When the mouse goes to talk to the owl because
yeah.
like it's so frightening.
When they're far away and they're getting closer to you and they're on branches like 8 feet above your head, you're like, oh
Oh,
my
that
God.
sounds so scary. Yeah, that's no
Yeah,
good.
like I said, I like took Kathy under me to like kind of protect her, and I held like a stick to like as we walked by them. I did try to take a couple pictures because like you never, how often do you get a chance to be that close to an owl? By the way, I saw a vulture fight yesterday across the street from me. It was like these three vultures, and the two of them were fighting, I think,
Up
over a
in Browns
girl.
Mills
No, here in
in
Sewell,
Township.
here in
Oh
Washington
well.
Township, yeah. And there ended up being four total, but two were in the fight, and they were fighting pretty bad. I'm like, and they're so big. I don't know if you know, vultures like they can get
I,
like waist high. They're pretty.
yeah, I saw some when I was driving Uber and stuff. There was some like on someone's like roof one time, and I was like, yikes! Like
Yeah, they
it
like
was like it's so weird.
I see them. I see them on roofs here and at Browns Mills, of course, where I deliver. But also they like to hang out on the beach of the lake to get the
Hmm,
sun. The sun, like they like to lay out and dry out, I guess.
scary.
It's just
They're so
weird. It's,
weird.
it's creepy because you see like 40 huge vultures across this little beach.
Well, I think their heads are. I think it was the Skeksis. I feel like that's like some the
Oh
model of
yeah.
like they took like a vulture head and they just kind of like made it scarier.
Hmm.
That
Skeksis,
movie
yeah.
scared the shit out of me. Yeah, we need to get a list of like what movies scared the shit out of us. I think parts of Beastmaster did too. I feel like there's some either human
Yeah.
sacrifice or something scary of Beastmaster. I gotta
Clash of
watch
the Titans.
Beastmaster.
When the scorpions grow big, I had this huge fear of scorpions. There's no
Yeah.
scorpions in New Jersey, but like you just thought like if you got stung by a scorpion, you died. That's all. You know, I
Wonder
don't,
why
I don't know if any of
I hate rebar so much. Wonder why I hate rebar so much. I don't know where I got that. There's
yeah,
rebar in this week's one of this week's comic
I
books
know.
made me
I
want to
saw it.
vomit. You saw it and you were like, "Fuck, Mark's gonna throw
I'm
up."
like, I'm like, ah,
It was a tough one. It's a tough one too.
yeah, that
It's
was
not
good.
cool.
All right,
Not cool.
let's get the hell out of here.
That's it. We did it again, guys. We did
We
it
got, that's
again.
right. Time to
Everyone, have the
everyone have a
best
good
week.
week.
Get the news, comment, subscribe, share. Let us know what you're doing, what you're looking at, what we're not covering, what you like, what we like that we're getting a little bit of a same people following.
And
All good.
and if you hear any news, reach out to us. Say, hey guys, I heard this. Let's say you're on a I don't know Larry Stroman forum, and Larry Stroman's like, oh, I'm doing something. Like, hey, let us know.
I gotta find
That
that
that's
Conan
where
story. Yeah.
a lot of the coolest news is told on podcast interviews, forums, Facebook pages.
Or
That's
Comic Cons, we're talking to the people like this happened, and well, I'm doing this for this. I'm like, you are? Like no one. Yeah, there's a
yeah,
big lack of news right now of like of how things are covered. Like after that Superman trailer, I was looking for the show. I was like, "Where's the screen? Where's what was it? Comics Continuum?" The next day they would have like 200 screen caps of whatever trailer came out. And
yes,
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't want to do that work. I want to go to a site and steal it. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like
right.
I don't want to do that, but I can't find it. They're like,
You
here,
go
you
on
can watch it.
you go on
A lot of
news sites today,
laziness.
and it's like Yellow Jacket
It's
season
AI.
finale. I'm like, I don't. Well, what Yellow Jacket? I want to. Where's my comic book news? I don't want to see like don't talk like Bleeding Cool SNL. I'm like, no, give me some comic book news.
Yeah, I got it to go on IGN, but like, yeah, Collider should be taken. They should take away their license because what they do is that either they don't have the rights to show whatever they're news reporting on, so you
Yeah,
have to go on like you have to go on. They have an article. They're like, this new McFarlane figure is announced. Okay, so I click on it, and they have a drawing of something. I go into it. It's total clickbait, and then I have to go to something else, which will give me a link to like an Amazon UK, and they'll have like a small picture of it. And I'm like, this is not a story. Like, I don't know where this is not a
yeah.
story.
I
Or
don't.
it takes me to a different, wrong action figure. And I'm like,
I hate
I
when
love
somebody
action figures.
when the title you do. I
I
hate when
do.
the title of the story is like, oh, you're not going to believe who dies this issue. Well, I don't want to know that somebody dies.
Right.
Like, give
Well, at
me
least
this
that's
because now
better.
No, it's not better because now you're reading the whole thing like, oh,
Oh, I
who's gonna
see.
die? Who's gonna like? Can it be a shock? I'd rather get to a death scene and be like, what the hell? They shot that guy,
Yeah,
or like, oh, guess who shows up? Well, now I'm reading the comic thinking who's gonna show up. I'd rather be surprised by just someone showing up. Like you're
you
not
didn't read X-Men
being
yet, right? You didn't read X-Men yet. I
correct.
wonder. Okay. Oh man, I just did it. I just did what you just said you didn't
See,
have to do.
now I'm like, what am I gonna expect?
Man,
Someone's gonna
there's
show up now?
someone's
Thanks,
gonna show
Mark.
up. Well, I mean, it's a comic book, but someone's gonna show up. So
Not always.
there's a conflict in the middle. Shocker, right? They're gonna be in a
Right.
kitchen. I believe there is a kitchen scene.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, that's where people meet.
Thanks,
That's where
Jed
people
McKay.
congregate. Jen McKay. You're
That's
Marvel's
I'm
best,
good.
Jen McKay.
I'm good. I like Jed McKay. I'm not
I do.
slamming on you,
I'm
but
enjoying his Avengers run. We
listen,
never talk about Avengers, but
he must be. Yeah, I think I need to go back because I tapped into a little bit of that Kang storyline. Looked kind of fun, and the artist is really good. I don't know who that is, but he's really really good. But no, I guess listen, it's a Tom Brevoort edict. If it's a X-Men book, you must be in a kitchen for at least 2 pages.
well, Tom Brevoort
So he
doesn't.
did it
It's funny. Avengers gets good after Tom Brevoort leaves.
right.
Uh-oh.
Avengers was too confusing. Here's the thing: no one told Jason Aaron no. I like the Jason Aaron run. I like how crazy it is. I like Blade showing up, British Blade, proper
Because
British
I'm
Blade,
British. I'm British.
British British Blade. I like Robbie Reyes. He's got to be somewhere, please.
Yeah.
No Robbie Reyes. It's not. There's not. The new Ghost Rider book just keeps doing Ghost Ridery stuff, which isn't much different. Ben Percy's Ghost Rider is doing the same stuff that Daniel Way did, which was the same stuff that Mackie did. Mackie spearheaded it, and it's been echoes since. Hasn't been
Right.
except except for that did that except for that Robbie Reyes run. But that artist was it. I'm trying to remember who created Robbie Reyes.
It wasn't Trad Moore, was it?
He
He definitely
co-created the
drew
yeah
some
he drew the
great Robbie
first.
Reyes. Yeah.
Yeah, he drew the first mini, but I forget who. Like, there's a guy who created it, but I feel like got half cancer or something. He's almost like a Latour.
Yeah.
Like Latour created Spider Gwen, got canceled, and now it's like he can't get any work because being creeped
Did Robbie
squeeze.
Rodriguez, was he the co-creator of Spider-Gwen
Yeah.
too?
hmm
And
But I
he
almost
was
feel like
like,
Rico Renzi, he's the colorist, and Rico Renzi, to me, should get some type of money for the last Spider-Man movie, which was half a Spider-Gwen movie, which half the coloring was color palette lifted
do
or
you remember
panels were lifted.
they were talking about actually doing a Spider-Gwen movie? And I just
They
remember
were,
thinking, no, just keep her in the Spider.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I know I would have
that would
loved
have
it,
done it.
obviously. Obviously, we would have loved it, but like, just keep it in that universe, keep it in that Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah.
Like, there's
One
no,
news bit that I forgot was that I really want to, and now I really am excited to see the Joe Bernthal like stuff, all the stuff he's been talking about being like Frank.
oh
Like he
yeah,
is like method Frank. Like he's writing the Frank
I love
Castle
it.
like Dare to Punisher like special presentation. Do more of
Yeah,
those. Do more of those, please. The Werewolf
yeah.
by
The
Night
two
was
you,
cool.
Werewolf on It was very cool,
Mhm.
and
Guardians of
Guardians
the
of the
Galaxy.
Galaxy Christmas was so enjoyable.
Yeah, and you can watch it every year
You can
and beat up a
we
GoBot.
beat up a GoBot. I
So
love it.
continuity.
So, all right, man, let's
All right,
wrap it
we did
up.
it again. We did it again, everyone. Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe.